Thundergrunt Podcast Network.
I should have killed myself when he put it in me.
After the first time, before we were married, Ralph promised never again.
He promised and I believed him.
But sin never dies!
Sin never dies.
At first it was all right.
We lived sinlessly.
We slept in the same bed, but we never did it.
And then that night, I saw him looking down at me that way.
We got down on our knees to pray for strength.
I smelled the whiskey on his breath.
Then he took me.
He took me with the stink of that filthy roadhouse and whiskey on his breath, and I liked it.
I liked it.
With all the dirty touching of his hands all over me.
I should have given you to God when you were born, but I was weak and backsliding, and now the devil has come home.
We'll pray.
A small little ship in the center of Mars was a sack of souls with experiment scars. When the second of the monk said, "I'll take two," and he put them in a rocket and he ate a lot of glue. And he shot them straight to Earth when they turned into babies. They were named Bob and Matt, and they rarely got rabies. And the monk made a movie of their whole entire lives. They were panoramic scenes and zooms of the thighs. One time Bob had sex with a ladle, and one time Matt lost a vet to a cradle, and another time Bob caught a dinosaur mom, and another time Matt bought a replica of Guam. And all this and more is on a DVD set, only $20.99 with the purchase of a gem. But if you call him right now and say, "Where's my whisk?" we'll include this bonus disc.
Hey, welcome to Bonus Disc!
Live from the icy depths of like a 17th century depiction of hell. It is so cold in here.
It's unbelievable.
Did you hear
My
that? Former guest of the
God.
show, Huey Hessen.
Wow.
So cool.
God, what are you doing up there,
You are
man?
killing Bob. He can't live like this. My feet hurt. Like they hurt. And there's nothing to be done about it.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Gotta
God.
get the message out there. People, Bob is not safe. This is a matter of fucking personal safety. All right, continue.
I'm not a frost giant.
It
God.
is so cold in here.
It's pretty cold. All right.
Oh.
I'm Bob Rose. and with me
Man
is...
teetering on the edge of existence. He might be a fucking ice cube when he wakes
I'm
up
pretty
tomorrow.
sure one of us might be the thing. It's like... so cold.
Dude, let's all start fucking bleeding each other into petri dishes and figure this out.
God. All right.
Oh, man.
I'm Bob Rose, and with me is Matt P.A.
Not an alien.
Not an alien. Equal hosts. We're both hosts.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's
That's it.
lovely.
Yes,
Yeah, right.
that was over with.
It's
Oh.
easy.
It's
Good.
done. We're past it. With
Yeah.
us is Sarah Gorman, former guest of the show.
Yes.
Pew, pew, pew.
Finally.
Host of Instant Screaming, also on Thundergrunt.
I do host that thing with Justin Gecka.
Yeah,
You had back on the show as well before
Right.
me.
And we had you.
As I like to point out.
It's fine. You guys were on here for God's Not Dead. God's Not Dead.
We were on
Yes.
here for God's Not Dead, and
you
Justin's mic didn't work.
explicitly did not want to watch God's Not Dead 2.
Which we could have.
I said no Jesus
Chrissy
movies.
Swanson.
I do
God
love
bless
Chrissy
her.
Let me
Swanson.
ask you now, do you wish we had watched God's Not Dead 2?
Fuck no, this movie was great.
Okay. We watched...
Legal Tender.
It's not illegal tender, right?
Legal Tender.
Legal tender.
The name had nothing to do with
It
it.
doesn't matter. It wasn't about
Oh,
cash.
Or law.
Right.
There was a lot of money in it,
But it wasn't about the money.
but it wasn't about the money.
Right.
No.
It was. It's a movie starring Robert Davi, Morton Downey Jr., and Tanya Roberts.
Mhm.
There's the three. I mean,
This
cast
movie
is all right.
starred Morton Downey Jr.'s body. It was everywhere. You saw all of it.
Yeah.
Literally all
there
of
was
it.
a point at which, and we'll get to it obviously, but you said, "Did he produce it?" Because it's there's so much nudity with him and
Yeah,
women.
Why is this
And
happening?
almost no one else.
Who let
Right.
that happen?
Oh.
Shame. Shame.
Shame.
Anyway.
Shame.
Anyway.
Gross.
Anyway, yes. Hi, I'm back.
Hi, you're
So
back.
We watched an erotic
Yep.
We're
thriller.
gonna talk about this erotic thriller right from the beginning. And
I took notes.
And Sarah took notes. She wasn't on the internet, Matt. She was taking notes.
Yeah, Matt was accusing me of some pretty dark shit over here.
It's because you got that cell phone. Look at it.
It's beautiful.
angry.
Tired of you kids on your phones all the time. There's a real world.
The movie starts with a
Poker game.
an overhead shot of a poker game, where it has all our favorite characters that we learn all their names and see them.
Willie and Rudy.
Oh yeah, where we learn all their names because then we all three argued over who Joey was
for
for
so-
15 minutes. It turned out to be none of them.
It's some dude.
Hey, just some guy named Joey. God damn
So
it.
it starts out with a poker game
Yep.
being led by Tanya Roberts.
Dealt. Yeah, she
So-
was dealing.
What's her name in the movie? What was it?
Ricky.
Ricky,
because it's Ricky's place.
Ricky's place.
Right.
where her brother Ben works the bar.
Bud.
Bud.
Her brother Bud works the bar, and he is completely healthy right now.
He is one of
Oh, it's totally fine.
100% healthy. She's running this bar that's apparently flourishing.
There's lots of people in it.
It's
There's-
got
Oh,
it's got a bunch of scotch taped pictures to the wall.
Yes.
This is my favorite part of the entire movie.
And some
It's
weird-
the pictures on the
You know
wall.
what I
A
think
mesh
that-
hanging from
A
behind the
fishing net
Yeah.
and Christmas lights shaped like fish.
But it was in California somewhere.
Oh.
It's had a nautical theme,
I don't know.
old Hollywood.
I think what they
Scotch
did was that movie was filmed in like Kansas, and then they kept saying it was in California, so that was their
Right.
idea of like the headshots on the wall. But it was people. It was dude. It looked like Louis Bellson, you know, like jazz legends or something. I was like, what are these photos?
But-
Who the fuck are these people? And you said it. There was like a Duran Duran
There's a
cover.
Duran
You're like,
Duran album cover on the
what
wall.
is
too.
any of this?
Not framed.
No, they were all just like 8x10s,
That were
like push pinned to the
Yeah.
wall.
no, they were
were
scotch
taped.
They-
tape.
some of them were taped.
It's like when you roll scotch tape in a circle and then put it on the back of stuff.
They
I'm
had,
pretty
like-
sure that's how it was.
They had that poster putty that you used
Yeah.
to use.
So they're in a card game and they're playing. There's this. What's the tall dude's name?
Rudy.
The rapist
Rudy.
brutalizer
Yes,
guy.
Rudy.
Rudy. He is cheating.
With another guy.
Yeah.
They did it really poorly.
Anyone sitting at this tiny table. It was
Dude,
like
Like I
it was
said,
like five guys bigger than me and Matt sitting at
Oh
a
my God, they
table.
were huge.
Yeah, they were. Everybody at the table was gigantic. They were elbow to elbow.
It was like the troll scene from Lord of the Rings. It was like there's huge men in this tiny table.
Like I said, you couldn't hide your hand from another player.
No.
They were
No.
sitting so close.
No.
There was no way to look at your cards that the guy on either side of you wouldn't be.
You'd
like,
have to cup
yeah,
them
I
and
saw
put your
that.
face in the cup.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
was
Rudy
insane.
gets 4 bullets. He gets 4 aces,
Right.
and
He
then he
wins
takes
all this fucking money.
a ton of money. And then everybody's just like, "Wow, you did a really good job tonight," and like scoot out of the back room.
They
They
all
left
just leave.
instantly and
And
Well,
they were all
somebody
like,
buys them all around. Somebody
Bud
goes
does.
like,
Bud does.
Bud
yeah.
does, yeah. Bud buys everybody in the game around, but then Ricky,
Yeah, Ricky.
she stops him to be like, I know you cheated, but why didn't she do it while he
Well,
was
everybody
cheating?
was in the room.
Yeah, when other people were in the room, like when there were other large men in the room, because
Who
this
would've,
guy was
like-
like
because she
7
wanted
feet
to
tall.
take him down herself.
I
for
don't
pride?
understand. I
But
guess
it
so.
just didn't make sense. It's
It
like
didn't-
her game. Like
was
she
like,
should have
to
been like,
be
"You're
honest-
cheating right now. Pull the
In a-
card out of your sock, you fucking asshole."
Right,
The first-
exactly.
It didn't make any
It's the
sense.
first as the first thing in line of a lot of things. It didn't make sense. It actually makes a lot more sense than most things in the movie.
I guess, man.
You know what I mean?
In
Like that was
retrospect,
the least of the not making sense problems.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe the scene later when we get there, we'll talk about. Maybe they were like familiar with each other, like maybe they were dating or whatever.
he was
but
probably just a regular at the table.
It felt
guess
like
so.
they had a history, but the movie doesn't let you know.
the movie doesn't say anything.
He smacks. He tries. He
No,
doesn't
he
touch-
smacks her. Oh, he
full on
smacks the fuck out
slaps
of
her in the face.
Well, he
Hold
gets
on,
out of the
hold on.
room.
No, he gets in the room. She says, "Keep your hands off me." We all said,
He didn't
"Keep your
touch
hands."
her
He
at
didn't
all.
touch her, but
Oh yeah,
right.
She goes, "Keep your hands off me," and his hands are like out, like
I
like
assume that he had done this before.
Oh.
He had manhandled her before. That's I'm
Maybe.
gonna give it the benefit of the doubt.
He sucks. He's
Because he
terrible,
does
man.
walk out of the room and just fucking smacks the shit out
She
of her.
like goes to joust him with a pool cue, and he easily takes it out of her hand, snaps it
he
over
has a
his
little
leg,
trouble snapping it and
Yeah.
then snaps it.
and then just like full open palm slaps her and
Slaps the
smacks her
fuck
on
It
the
is a
ground.
pimp bitch slap if I
Oh
ever
my
saw
god!
one.
And nobody does anything. They
No.
just let him walk out of the
Dude,
bar.
the customers of this bar, I think, are like ghosts. I don't
dude, her
think
brother is like, "Don't do anything about it." Because
No.
she's like,
He's crazy.
Yeah.
She gets up and she's like, "This is bullshit." And he's like, "No, he's crazy. Just don't." And then she gets in a car, and then Bud,
Yeah, bud.
fully healthy Bud, is able to leap into a moving car and
Picture
climb
of human
inside.
health.
Yeah, picture of human health. This
Yeah.
Bud, man. The Adonis.
Yeah.
And then
Perfect. His blood work is immaculate.
there's a car chase where they were sped up the footage.
Oh,
Every
100%.
time it was like them taking.
It's not
a
even
corner.
really an action car chase. It's
No,
like
no.
it's a Lifetime movie car chase.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
sped
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
It looks weird. It
It's
looked
not.
awesome.
It's not there for action's sake.
But Bud
No.
is trying to get her to stop driving, so they're fighting over the steering wheel the whole time. So what happens? They flip on a boat.
They don't catch him.
No.
No, they just
They
don't
veer
the car.
completely off course.
Here's the thing: is
Okay,
The car just the lead car just
we're-
disappears.
we
Yeah,
get
he
to
gets
the point.
away.
He does. Spoiler: he does come back. The guy they were chasing.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that he's a local that she knows very well because she knows he's also a manhandler and he beats women.
Yeah, he.
So you know where he lives probably. And
Why
you're-
invite him
why-
to your poker game?
Why chase him?
Just
you
go to
know
his
where
house.
he is eventually going to end
Yeah.
up.
You can figure it out. You can call the police. And
You
be
don't
like,
need
I
to
know
have
his
a
name
high-speed car chase.
and what he
Anyway,
looks like, and
It
a
doesn't
lot,
matter.
Probably a lot more.
Then it
But
cuts-
also, like, hold on, the car doesn't even flip over. Like
it hits a boat.
it hits a
it's-
boat
it
and
goes
it goes
on
on
its
its side
side.
and slides 10 feet and then stops.
It was so
And then
yeah,
from this, Bud is crippled
ruined forever.
and needs medical bill mania. It's like nothing happened.
I feel like
Yeah, they
I
would've
could
been
survive
fine.
it pretty good.
She would have been more
Anyone-
fucked because she was on the driver's side, and that was
could've
the side that hit the
landed on
ground.
her.
You could have
would've
filled this
landed on
car
her.
with babies and then just it'd be
They'd all be
fine.
fine.
It'd be fine.
But babies cheat. They're all made out of rubber. Like your
So it
bones
doesn't
aren't
matter.
real yet. So it doesn't
Babies
matter.
You're right.
cheat.
And
I
then
like
it,
that.
it cuts to a year later, right? And that's when we
They
see-
don't say.
They
I
don't say
didn't.
how much longer.
There was
it
a
is.
card that said sometime. It was like
Oh, okay.
a couple months. Like
I was writing. I think I was writing.
it was like 18 months later, or something, because it showed the Ricky's Place sign and it's underneath.
Okay. Now
It's-
nobody's
just assume
there.
it's a year or two later.
Wait. Before. No.
No,
Okay.
that's when we meet Bobby
Yep,
and
that's when we
Lori.
meet Bobby.
And Lori,
Yeah.
right?
So the
'cause
bar's not. There's not as many people as last time.
the bar is not flourishing because of this.
But they seem to have hired someone
She
new.
Tanya Roberts was not injured at all.
No, she
She's
was
fine.
fine.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she's
Still
fine.
super hot,
But Ben has a limp.
bud.
Bud, God damn it. Bud.
Oh
has a
yeah,
limp.
Tanya Roberts. Almost every line is dubbed.
Dubbed.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
Or
the
just her.
entire time. Nobody else.
Everyone else is like completely fine.
She
it's
has got-
because her voice is all like raspy.
Yeah, it's
low.
because she has
probably
like
couldn't,
one
like,
of these kinds
speak
of
louder.
voices.
She had like a Lindsay Lohan voice
Yeah,
type
she
thing
has
going.
like a. She has like one of these kinds of like things.
It's so good though.
But so does
Oh,
I think
yeah.
Robert
Like-
Davi does too. So I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Maybe she just can't
He has
project.
a mush mouth
Yeah.
though.
He
I don't
got-
think
he got
even when
terrible
he's
mush
talking
mouth.
loud, it's still like sometimes
I
you're
wish-
like, what the fuck was that?
I wish he sang though. I was waiting for
He
him
does
to
sing
bust
well.
out singing.
Okay, so that's when we meet.
So Bobby is this guy playing pool.
and
Yeah.
he wants
He
to
bets
date.
the waitress Lori that $5 she can't make this like pool shot,
Yeah,
but just to squeeze her butt when she bends over.
and that's where she's wearing that dope ass outfit, the
Oh,
satin
yeah.
tube top, and she has suspenders, like short, like really short suspenders holding it up. I know that I'm the only person in this room who cares about this, but the outfits in this movie were amazing, and I'm not being ironic. They were incredible. I would wear them all. They were so good.
Thank you. That's me
Tanya
and Matt would
Roberts.
never have picked up on that. So there you go.
It was a really good
I
outfit.
mean, she looked good.
I'd been like, she looks like
She looked good.
desperately seeking Susan.
Yeah, it was adorable. She was adorable. And then they were like, Bobby, stop hitting on her. And she was like, it was no in junior high. It was no in high school. And it's no now. So they all know each other,
They-
like intimately.
Yeah, Bobby's the long-haired guy, right?
He's the coke dealer. We're
Right.
gonna find
Yeah.
out.
We're
in a
gonna find
second.
out that he is a coke
Yeah.
dealer, right?
Well, a heroin dealer.
Her-
That's what we'll
heroin
find out
dealer.
first.
Right. Okay. So then we go into the bathroom.
Bathroom.
Dope.
No, we don't go into the bathroom just yet. We go to the back first. That's when Fix comes in.
Fix, that's when we meet
Fix
Fix.
walks
Is
in.
Robert
And-
Davi his
Robert
name?
Davi.
Fix.
We didn't take any notes on this because we were all arguing about who
Yeah,
Joey
who
was.
the fuck Joey was?
Because they said, oh, ever since Joey had. Because Tanya Roberts says, ever since Joey, her
No,
brother.
he said, they were like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I'm
Looking for-
replacing Joey.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, you're Joey's replacement. And he goes, yeah.
Yeah.
He's replacing Joey who is a
At
character
the
at the table. Which-
But nobody we ever met or was ever mentioned, so then we all
might
were
have mentioned his
scrambling
name,
to figure out who Joey
but
was.
they mentioned
but we
12
assumed-
people's name when they were like,
Because
Joey,
she said he
you
had
have
an
a
accident,
myth. Like,
remember?
No, she
Does
said
she
Bud
know?
has next.
Bud, she talks about Bud's
The
accident.
only-
Right, but remember how she talks about it? She says, Bud had his accident and I happen to be driving the vehicle.
No, that's
That's
later.
way later.
Is that later?
Yeah,
oh my god,
that's
so
different.
much later.
I thought that
This
was in
is
the
when
beginning.
Robert
No.
Davi comes in and talks to
To Bud.
Bud at
He's
the bar.
talking to the bar.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
tells him how
okay,
he's like
okay.
like he's a private eye and,
And
all that.
he tells the story which is like the first in a long line of weird bad jokes that Robert Davi tells in
They're
this movie.
so bad.
Where like he's like, yeah, I was just hired to do it. I'm a PI and I was hired to do a case, and this guy hired me because his second wife was fooling around. Turns out his second and Bud was like, well, that's not that weird. And then Robert Davi was like, well, the second wife was fooling around with the first wife, and
Oh,
then
man.
everybody started laughing, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be
Pretty
this
sure
movie's gonna be a
that's-
treat. This
Pretty
is
sure
a treat.
that's not a joke.
No.
What part of that is a joke?
But
What
it
was
was
the one
intended
line where
to be
it was
funny.
like-
yeah.
What was the one line where they switched the words for no reason and didn't make any sense?
Oh,
Every-
not
every,
that
like-
it wasn't the tambourine. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
that guy could pull a magician out
Have
of a rabbit.
Yeah. Whoever wrote the quips for this is a fucking moron.
Although I do like that though. I like to pull a
Pull a
magician
magician
out
It
of a
could have been
rabbit.
like the version one, like the 1.0 version of the sea manatees writing. Family Guy was
Oh,
like this
right.
movie's dialogue. They were like, we need a quip. Go to the sea manatee, the quip manatees.
No, the worst one was the tambourine one.
Yeah.
Oh, but we'll
Well,
get there.
I don't
was
even
like-
remember when it was
Dude,
said.
it doesn't
Yeah,
matter when
so-
it was said, but I remember what it was. He goes, it's just like in
If you get
just
caught,
just like at the revivals, at the old revivals. We gotta catch him with his Duke in the tambourine. And you're like, what?
dude,
That's just a bunch of
His
words.
I think it means like they used to pass around tambourines for monies in revival and like catch them stealing from the
Oh,
yeah, that's what it means.
I thought it meant his dick.
Yeah,
but-
but you guys
that
like,
makes more
Yeah, yeah.
sense now. Fuck.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Robert, right, it makes
Because
way
without
more
that, I was
sense.
just like, those are just three separate ideas
Yes,
as far as I
right.
can tell.
yeah. So then so Fix joins the poker game and we see
Right.
him like immediately trust and like Ricky.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know. I thought for some reason I thought like he was there to get her or someone had hired a PI about the car accident.
he was
No, he just
haphazardly
no, he just
there,
yeah,
poker.
he was just
and
actually
he
playing
was-
poker.
which is a theme in the movie, is haphazardly just getting involved in things.
Oh my god, just things randomly happening
Happened
to you for no reason.
Right.
Then we go to the bathroom, which is like
So
high on
awesome.
my list of favorite scenes in this movie.
It's
And-
Bobby and Bud doing heroin,
Heroin.
in the bathroom. It's awesome.
And they're like acting like people who've never done heroin, trying to act like people who do heroin.
oh yeah.
Because that's exactly
I love
who
that
they
in
were.
movies when people act like they're high, but they've never.
They've
They don't know
never
what it
done
is.
heroin.
That's
never.
great.
Yeah.
Oh my god, they were just doing the Baltimore lean real hard. Like
That's
all of the words are slurred.
this is
Yeah.
where we find out Bobby sells heroin, and
Bobby's dealer, yeah.
Bud has been hiding it in their storeroom for him.
A stash. Well, he just says a stash. Later, we find out the stash was cocaine. But yeah, so Bobby's involved in some
Okay.
real
It's in the
shit.
napkins.
Bobby's in the bad things.
Yeah,
He's
Bobby is a bad
man.
guy, and Bud is using heroin to deal with his chronic pain.
Don't worry,
Oh,
Bobby will get his comeuppance.
they'll all get
Okay,
their
so
comeuppance.
yeah, he's doing heroin. We go back to the poker game.
that's
when
when the
Rudy
the,
comes back.
Rudy
Well, the
yeah.
big black guy has
No, that's
indigestion.
way
for
later.
Way later.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Dude, that is like an hour later.
Yeah, that is
Jesus
way later.
Christ, so many
It all
poker
kind of
games.
melds together.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, because
so
there were
okay,
12
Rudy
Rudy
comes
comes back
back
in.
and starts giving her lip.
No, he
He
starts making
immediately
out with her.
starts trying to rape her in front of all those guys at the table, dude. It's out of control. What
Sure,
happened?
and there's these guys.
They're just
so,
sitting there.
Yeah.
They're all huge.
Yeah.
They all look like football players.
Players,
It's
yeah.
so bad.
Yeah, and he just like sticks his tongue down her throat immediately when he walks in the
And
room.
then Fix gets up and is like, "Why don't you leave the lady alone?"
Why don't you come outside? And they go outside and
It
fight.
happens
so
so
fast.
So fast.
Yeah.
They're in a fight within seconds. Like I would say 10.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's unbelievably fast.
But as
He
a
tackles
person,
him as he's walking out the door. He's just
It's-
like, "Oh, you want to fight me? Okay, cool."
Robert Davi as an action star is weird, but go ahead.
it is weird. But then he actually, it was like I was watching. I've been living in fight choreo for fucking Brides of Tortuga,
Yeah.
which kept driving me crazy. But he actually slams that huge dude into
Into
the
a door,
wall
yeah.
of the set so hard that the wall almost buckles behind him. I was like, "That's crazy." That was nuts.
They're two pretty big guys, though.
They're
I could see-
huge.
Yeah, like
yeah.
they could take
Oh,
it.
yeah, that Rudy guy was huge.
He was a monster.
Yeah, I mean, he looked like just
He was scary,
a guy
yeah.
that would beat everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I hope he doesn't have kids. Anyway,
Yeah, and then Ricky follows him out, and then the next thing you know, Ricky and
they're fighting. Does Rudy? No, he beats the shit out of Rudy, right?
Yeah, he's like, get
Yeah.
the fuck out of here. He says some quip that I don't remember.
That's
We
terrible.
laughed about
Yeah,
it.
He says something that doesn't make any goddamn
Didn't make
sense.
a goddamn lick of sense. And the next thing is the shot of them walking on the beach with Robert Davi with the hat. The crazy hat. The crazy orange hat.
Right. Was that the next scene?
That's the next
Yeah,
scene.
they just go for a walk. He beats that guy
He was
up.
haphazardly in a bar.
Just to
Yeah,
play
just
poker.
randomly.
Then started playing poker with him because he found out about it. Then
Then they just leave. She leaves her business. They leave the poker game. There are so many poker games that are started and never
Or
finished.
finished.
Yep.
Oh, I guess this is the one
That's
though
what
where
I
he
said when
flipped
that happened.
the
I was
table.
like, "There's a room full of people waiting for them to figure out if they're playing a game." Oh, that's
Right.
the later one though. But it
That's the
happens
later
right
one.
there too.
No, I think this is the one where they flipped the poker table.
Oh yeah, Rudy flipped the table.
Rudy flipped the
before-
table.
I laughed really hard when he did that because he was going to go out to attack Robert Davi, but instead he just came right back and went, "Oh," and flipped the whole table while all those guys are sitting there. It's like,
But
I
they
need
did-
to do this. Sorry.
Yeah, but Ricky
kinda
just
funny
leaves
little
her business in the middle of the day. Just goes. And then
Dude, she is the worst
oh my God,
bartender,
she's
bar
the worst
owner ever.
small business owner I've ever
Really
seen.
bad.
Right. Yeah.
How is
really
she
bad.
making money off of people playing poker in the back of her bar?
She's not. She's just
just-
like hosting them.
it's weird.
But it's
a
also,
games
like,
room that
illegal.
she's in charge of.
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah,
so
like,
I
it's
guess
It's
not-
a legal poker game. It's like the mob does, you know, like
Yeah.
in Sopranos and shit.
But it's
Alright,
not like
they
she's
run-
getting a cut.
Yeah.
She's just like hosting
Okay.
these dudes.
It's her game.
Smoking a bunch of cigarettes.
Right. Okay, so they're on the beach.
Yeah, and
Talking
they're
about
like,
it.
"Are you okay?" Because Rudy rock and rolled on your ribs, and he's like, "Rock and roll, more like
Oh, he's wearing
Beethoven's
it's
fifth
fit-
on my clavicle."
Oh, it's like another one of those lines. She's just like,
Ah!
Dude, I kind of love it. It's terrible, but Beethoven's fifth on my clavicle.
when did
And he's wearing
did
that
last
hat,
when
the hat
hat-
from Blockbuster.
Oh, that hat was
Dude,
fucking.
it had to say Blockbuster on it somewhere.
It was so saturated on the VHS that it was this orange mass on his head.
It was a
so
black hole.
It was
where
so
it
hard
was.
to look at. It was so bright. It's terrible.
And then she was wearing that fresh ass fucking Johnny Depp from Betty and June
She
outfit.
was- yes.
She looked good as fuck
She
in
looked
this
good.
movie.
Except for her voice, she looked great.
Oh my god,
Her
that dubbing
voice
was
is
so bad.
terrible.
So then we get then it was boobies and burgers.
It cuts to a shot,
Oh, yeah.
a close of giant
Two
breasts
burgers.
with a big plate of burgers. That's just 2 burgers. And then
They eat
that's
some
them being
burgers.
served. And that's when I noticed the dubbing. Because I was
Yes.
like, okay, it's an outside scene. The ocean's right there. I understand why you'd have to dub this scene. Because the ocean would ruin the sound.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it that much until then.
No, yeah, we hadn't talked about it
We
till
hadn't
then.
really talked about it. I wasn't really paying attention. I just thought it was a shitty VHS. But then when it cuts to the next scene, the 2 of them are in.
Which is also a fucking great scene.
It's a great scene.
A great
They're in her
scene.
house, right?
She comes home from this date, essentially.
Yeah.
She left work for 7 hours.
With a
To go hang
strange
out-
private eye who happened to be at a board game.
Francis
It's-
Ignatius Xavier
You're right.
Cleary. You shortened it to Fix, which Fix Cleary is a dope ass PI name.
It's
though.
not
Fix
bad.
Theory is
It's
good.
it's really good. She comes home to her brother just openly doing heroin on the at the kitchen table.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
fucked out of his mind on here. There's like
this,
a spoon and a candle and like the whole 9 yards. Like just like la-di-da, this is my heroin now. And she reads the letter that says his insurance is being cut because
It's a health insurance.
his
movie.
health it's the
This
movie about
is
health
It's
insurance.
a movie about fucking health insurance.
He lost
Sword,
his
I
health
mean,
insurance because he was doing
It is the
heroin.
Dude, this
inciting
is
thing.
truly
Up until
about
this-
nothing.
No,
It's
up
about-
until
It's about
this
cocaine
moment,
and heroin.
there's nothing.
Trafficking.
Up until this moment,
It's about coincidences.
Morton Downey Jr. would not be in this movie if not for this scene.
Yeah, if
because
not
they
for
would
health
never just
insurance.
go, "How do we get money? How about the guy on television?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They have crazy medical bills. He's really.
We don't know
He's
what's
all
wrong
fucked
with
up on
him.
here, and she
He has a
talks to
limp.
Lori
He has a
about
limp.
it.
He has a
She
limp.
talks to Lori about it.
And this is when the movie passes the Bechdel test. Because her and Lori
Right.
have a conversation about their money problems.
Yes, that's
It-
true.
Just to be fair, that
But the conclusion of that conversation is the man.
But they're not talking about it.
the
Dude.
rest of this
Okay.
movie though is not. Don't think.
No,
No,
but
women,
this movie,
women are things in this movie.
this movie does
and they're
pass the
things that
Bechdel
want to
test.
have sex with
I'm
Morton
just
Downey
going
Jr.
to say this movie passed, like, it is factual to name
Okay.
female characters, have a full-length conversation
About something other than men.
other. The Suicide Squad does not pass the Bechdel test, but
This-
this movie does.
Well, that didn't have Morton Downey Jr. in it.
It did not.
Why would you, in a world where Morton Downey Jr. is the sexual peak?
Yeah, you don't talk about it.
You don't talk about men or anything. It's,
Nope.
You just don't bring it up.
Yeah, so
Can't.
like
It's
her and
nightmare
Lori,
fuel. You have to start thinking about his fucking taint.
her and Lori and
God
Bud all live
damn.
together across the street from the place that they work, which was it's just like fucking
I feel like
crazy.
they didn't give that away early enough. Like I didn't understand some of the stuff. that
No,
was
yeah, you don't really figure
because
that out until she goes to get the jacket when it's raining.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
you're like, wait a minute, it's right
It's
there.
right over
There's
there?
an alleyway between these things.
Yeah, it's crazy. I like my coworkers, but if I couldn't live with them,
You think you
that's
would
insane.
think in a better movie you would establish somebody walking from one to the other, just to
Some-
show.
Just to show.
Yeah.
It's just like it was just like okay, they live next door. It'd be great if all the characters just lived next to each other, like Morton Downey Jr.'s palace.
Rudy lives literally right next to them down
yeah,
the
they all
alleyway.
live right there. The whole town is just them. So yeah,
So then, yeah, they say, how about that guy on TV?
yeah.
He
And
gives
because
money
we-
to homeless people.
because earlier in the movie we see a commercial, which is like
For
Morton Downey
Home and
Jr.
Hearth
being
Savings
Beetlejuice
and Loan.
as
Yeah.
a cowboy. Like
Yes.
you know, you'll love him, and it's Home and Hearth, right?
Mhm.
Hearth and Home.
Hearth and Home.
Earth and Home Savings and Loan.
Savings and Loan.
And
right.
he's Mal, the pal, everybody's friend.
right. And that's when we cut to Hearth and Home,
Yeah, we see him walking in
which
the door.
is one of my favorite scenes because it plays that
Cowboy music.
the happy
Weird.
cartoon cowboy
It was
music.
really weird.
We go from watching a
I had
guy
no idea what
overdose
this
on
meant.
heroin in a kitchen to happy cowboy music.
And Morton Downey
great.
Jr. walks in the bank, and there's a giant, like
Painting.
Roy Rogers-esque painting of him.
Dude, that
Which
I
thing
would
was
pay money
fucking
for.
awesome.
I know, I want
yeah,
it. I
no,
want
That
it.
was incredible.
It's great.
That was like, what was that? What was that Billy Blanks movie where the guy had the picture of his face that was an entire wall?
Right.
It's better than that. It's better than that shit.
I want to have a website that just tracks down where props for movie go like that. You know?
I need to find that.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
Quick aside is one time the painting from Hook of Hook himself that was in the pirate ship was
Yeah.
on eBay, and it was $40,000.
Oh my god.
Screen used.
Why wouldn't you just have
I probably
someone
would have
paint
wasted
you
money on that. Anyway,
paint you a picture of
right.
him?
Anyway, we're this scene's weird because he's walking through. It's happy music, and he's saying hi to everyone like he's the shit.
Yeah.
he's
and
everybody's
underneath
pal.
that portrait it says everybody's friend.
He's everyone's friend. Right.
So he passes his VP who does not have an office. She just has a desk where a
Outside
secretary
of
would
his
go.
outside of his office.
Yeah, she's a
with
secretary, but he calls her a vice president.
She calls herself a vice
They're
president.
only separated by glass.
But he treats her like a secretary.
Yeah, this is very important.
They're only
yes.
separated by
They're
glass.
separated by
Big,
a wall of windows.
giant, clear, see-through glass.
And Ricky's there, and she's talking to one name I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Verna, yep.
Nympho
Verna
secretary.
Wheeler.
Verna Wheeler. She's talking to Verna.
Spanky.
And we see like Mal sit down and like stare at Ricky, and then he listens in on that conversation.
His office is adorned with like Texas
Guns.
roadhouse
There's
shit.
guns all over the place.
Guns everywhere.
fucking
There are
calf
like
skull and
40
stuff.
guns just like on the wall. Can you do that?
And they're all famous too. He gave the clue that everything he has everything he had belonged to people,
Yeah.
like famous people.
Yeah.
He's a very, very wealthy man.
Right.
So he dials in on their conversation outside.
You like gotta make sure we understand the foreshadowing
I
the movie
feel-
painted about how he's
I
not
feel
gonna
like
be
the
such a
decor
good
was
guy.
an important part of his character. That scene dressing, man. Let's say this: the people doing the scene dressing in his office were way better than the people doing the bar.
Yes, that is very true.
Okay.
Okay. I'll
Fire
give you
those
that.
people. Hire the other ones.
Okay, all right.
That is very true. And so Verna's like being real shitty.
Yeah, she's
to
like,
Ricky.
I'm just being honest. I don't think you have much of a chance of getting along.
Yeah, which is
Right.
like what sounds normal to me.
Yeah,
And,
that's
it's
pretty much
very
my
fair.
experience every time I go to the bank.
Right.
So he calls her and he's like, I want to talk to her.
She's like, but why? And he's like, don't. I said I want to talk to her.
Yeah, so she hangs up and she goes, Mal wants to talk to you. And Ricky's like, where? She's like,
It's
in
not-
his office. It was like, he literally walked past
Where
her.
could he be?
He walked like within a foot of you, like half a
40
second
seconds
ago.
ago.
And he's literally sitting in the only office on this floor.
That's behind
Behind
glass
the
wall.
wall.
He's right there.
He's literally right. You
He's
could
like
spit
30
on
feet
him.
from where you are.
Staring at you.
Yeah, staring at you contently with 40 guns behind him. How did you miss? Like, what the fuck? So she goes in. She doesn't introduce herself. She doesn't say anything.
No,
she just hands her.
Already. It doesn't matter.
She hands him her like portfolio or whatever and says, "You need to look at this." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's very forward."
You need to see this.
You need to see this. That's what she says. And
My
then
brother's dying.
yeah, she explains her
Dude,
whole
he
like
has a
sob
limp.
story.
What is keeping him? Like, what happened to him?
He's got to be.
What the fuck happened to him?
It's
He
gotta
seems
be-
fine. He
He just has a limp.
he has enough motor skills to inject himself with heroin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can get a damn job outside of. He has a fucking job. He has a job. His sister pays him. That's what the same job he had before the accident. What is the difference? Like, he's not disabled.
Dude, I don't know.
Sorry.
Because that car wreck, okay, maybe it broke his leg.
But he
But why would
runs
he-
in a scene. I mean, he's so
He has
capable.
we watch him have sex with someone. Like he's
Yeah,
very capable.
while standing.
Yeah, while standing. He's capable.
on.
I don't.
He's
Yeah.
totally fine.
I
There's
have problems doing that.
there's
What-
no
what-
ongoing medical concerns
Yeah,
with this
what
man,
are
other
those
than now
bills
his
for?
like heroin addiction.
What the fuck are those bills for?
Maybe
I
he's
don't know.
mentally traumatized. Because
No,
I mean,
she just
he has a
says
slight limp, and that is it.
when in the scene earlier with Vic, she goes, and then after his accident, when I happened to be driving, everything went down.
It's the weirdest, like, passive aggressive way of saying that you
after
caused an
his
accident.
accident when he got stabbed and I was holding that knife. Like, wait, what?
That sounds like a murder.
It's like, okay.
Speaking of murder, that's when he's like, "Well, I'll approve your loan, but only if you'll go out to dinner with me." And she's like, "Meh,
I don't
no."
know. You look like a fucking gremlin fell in Bleach. It's like you look insane, man. He does. His head is.
I always his mouth when
It's
he
his
smiles
mouth.
is
It's
super
his
creepy.
mouth.
He looks like Steve Buscemi's like uncle.
Yeah, it's really he's
Yeah, that's what he
awful
looks like.
looking.
His hair is terrible.
I mean, I love
It's
the guy.
awful.
I love him as an actor,
Yeah,
but he's,
Oh my god!
man,
I just
he's
want to
weird
knock
looking.
all of his teeth
I don't want
out.
to see him hitting on women,
No.
touching them, flirting
Oh,
with
it's
them.
like
see so much
Willem
of that.
Dafoe and Steve Buscemi had an uglier baby.
The three of them should have a sex scene. I would watch that. If those three Warren Downey Jr., William Dafoe, and Steve Buscemi had a sex scene.
I just want close-up shots of all of their mouths.
Oh god.
And
just them kissing.
their eyes.
Their eyes bug out and touch each other.
That should be your next project. Pat.
Yes. Okay.
So he threatens to kill himself if she doesn't go to.
jokingly.
Well, he pulls
With
a gun, off his wall.
Who owned the gun? It was somebody famous. It was
I don't
like
remember.
a famous outlaw or something.
I think he said like Billy the Kid or
Jesse
James.
James.
or
Jesse James.
something.
Like it was a
Colt
implied that it was a
45.
real, like famous historical gun.
He would not have that gun. That belongs in a museum.
Right. Yeah. Right.
That is so good. A window smashes open, Indiana Jones just steals
That's
the
it.
gun out of his hand. He threatens to kill himself with a gun if she doesn't go to dinner.
Then he cocks it and clicks
clicks
it.
it.
And
He's
there's
like,
a-
well, good thing it was empty. And I was like, wait, there's
Because
a
she
doubt?
like laughs about it. She's like, "Well, I wouldn't want that to happen." So okay, I would be like,
But then he pulled the trigger anyway.
He pulled
and
the
you're
trigger.
like, so you didn't want to go on a date? What?
I don't
you
know.
already look weird. I don't want to fucking go on a date with you if you're holding guns to your head and shit. Like, like
But the
Yeah.
next scene is one of the top 5 scenes of the movie.
where is the
He
next
calls
scene?
Verna in to be
fuck,
like,
and the
"Why were
music
you
goes
so
like,
mean
dude,
to her?"
bum, bum, bum.
It's indescribable. You have to watch this movie to see how they deliver every line in the scene. It's so weird.
It's so weird. The music is crazy.
The music instantly changes. It goes
She-
from happy cowboy music to
to like, yeah, and she's
just
like on a soap opera. All of she's very angry with him.
because they have. It turns out they have like an S&M
She
kind
goes,
of thing
yeah.
going.
She goes.
Yeah.
It used to be business and pleasure,
And
but
you
now it's
give
just
me
business. And then she mentions that they're cocaine dealers, and he's like, "That's our private business."
the powder.
The powder. That's what did she call it? Colombian snow.
Colombian snow.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, she called it snow. of the Colombian variety.
Or
It was
that
like
falls in places like Colombia.
The dialogue is very awkward.
She
It's so
shouted
weird.
it like there were other people in the office that might hear it, and he
very
responded in
true.
so. But there's no. They're literally on a tiny, like, partial floor with
by
no one else.
themselves,
There's no
right.
one there.
Then he goes and closes the curtains,
and takes off her jacket.
takes off her jacket,
and she accuses him of
panties.
sleeping with all these other women.
Does he
And-
spank her there?
Yes.
That's when he
Yes.
starts spanking her.
Oh,
Right.
he smacks her ass, then she smacks his ass.
ass,
It
yeah.
sounds like somebody smacking a wet sponge. It's just like, what is wrong with his ass? He slaps her, it's like smack, and then she smacks him, and it's like, and you're like, what was that noise? What was that noise?
It's just like,
weird.
why do I have to think about him having sex ever? I don't. Stop it.
And then they lift her skirt, and there's like 4 or 5 like shots of him spanking this woman.
That's
Yes.
why it's like,
It's
did he
wonderful.
produce this movie?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It's
no.
a Neil Breen situation.
Well, I asked when he got in the hot tub. The hot tub
yeah,
was when I was
the hot
like,
tub.
I would-
wait,
dude.
why is this happening?
I
There's
watched
just topless women in his
Morton
house.
Downey
They
Jr.
live. That's what their job is. There's 2 women. Their job is just to be topless in his home and do shit.
Yep.
Dude, if
This-
you're a
they're like-
millionaire, you never know what you're gonna do. You go crazy. You gotta do stuff.
Those women did not speak a goddamn
Not a
word in
single
this
word.
entire movie.
No.
We saw their tits 7 times.
All the time.
All the
every
time.
time they were on screen.
Every time they were on screen, they were topless, and they did not say
Say
they didn't say
anything.
anything.
Not even to each other.
And this movie passes the
The
Bechdel
Bechdel
test.
test.
It's awesome.
It's so good.
Test is bullshit.
Is that the
so
scene
great.
after it? Because
No, the scene after
spanking
is dinner.
happens.
It's the bar. She shows up to dinner.
Yeah, there's the scene where
Right.
she shows up to dinner and he doesn't show up, so she's like sitting at the bar waiting, and then
He calls her, and when he's in the hot tub with the naked ladies.
before she gets the call, she's waiting. A guy sends a drink over,
Peter. Yep.
and he comes. This dude's like, "Hey, I'm free. If you're free, let's hang out. I got a steak somewhere with your name on it."
it's a ribeye over there with your name, right?
Yeah,
And
and then
she
she
gets
gets
a phone call. Yeah.
and it's Morton Downey Jr. and he's like, "I'm not gonna be able to make it.
My
Sorry,
son.
my
this-
something happened with my son. I got to take him to
Yeah.
a
He
hospital or
has
some
kids.
shit."
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't
what?
think so. It didn't seem like
But
he
they're
did.
very.
Stop reminding me he's had sex.
all of a sudden, they're very casual with, like, you know what I mean? It's like they were close. You know what I mean?
That was
She
a
didn't
first
seem
date.
upset.
It was a first date which he was canceling on her. And
Yeah,
let's
and
note
she was
too.
like-
At this point, he had already given her money, some money,
No.
right?
no.
She was gonna. They were gonna talk about it
At
over
dinner.
dinner, and then but he
Right.
says in the phone call,
Okay.
"I have a check waiting for you in the morning."
Yeah, I have a crisp.
Which
I have a crisp loan contract
Which
waiting
has,
for you.
yeah.
has to be a lie. That has to be a lie.
No, she sends
Dude,
him he sends her a check. They talk about it later.
what?
So, okay,
Well,
okay,
hold on,
okay, so
we'll
it's
get to
important.
that.
It's
Put
important.
a pin in that. Put
That's
a
what
pin
I'm
in
saying.
that.
It's
Yeah,
important that you know that he was sending her actual money
He
at
sent her
that
money.
point.
But he was
Because it doesn't make sense
Yeah.
with everything that's happening why he would do that.
Yes.
Yes, he
That's-
sends her money the next day.
No. Hold on.
We'll get there.
We gotta get there.
So,
Yeah.
so she takes the guy up on.
She's like,
offer
yeah.
for dinner.
She
Never
takes the guy
showed
up to
up.
a room, but she obviously has no intention of sleeping with him, and he's
No.
a complete stranger.
Hold on.
Yes.
She's drunk though. They go
She is
go
drunk.
eat dinner at the hotel restaurant. He pumps her full of champagne.
We see Mal.
She
give,
makes that weird poop joke. Where she's like, I need to do a number in this bathroom. And we were all like, wow, that was...
Speaking of numbers, I gotta do a number in this bathroom. She no, but we see Mal give the order because we see Mal in the hot tub with his 2 naked
Yes.
ladies.
Oh, man.
The door is open and his henchmen
Are
standing
standing like 20 feet away.
They're doing
Watching
cocaine.
him.
It's Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby.
It's
and there's
Bobby
like a
and some other guy.
spotlight going into
Yeah,
this room.
that's my favorite part, is that there was a
It's so
spotlight
good.
on the open door that he has
So
2 naked
fucking
women
good.
in.
Just like, I'm just gonna fuck these women.
Well,
right
you guys
while-
get high and stare.
Yeah.
Welcome to Friday night, boys. Like,
I'm
live it-
Morton Downey Jr.
Yeah. Time to live it up. Like, that's what you're doing. You're all rich, aren't you? Like,
It's pretty crazy.
Oh, it was so funny. So she goes in the bathroom. And we see this guy who's like a stranger or whatever, call Mal.
Handsome stranger.
And they have a very strange conversation where Mal's like, oh, or Peter's like, she's real foxy if I wasn't
He's
already
like, I
married.
paid a lot of money to get you in
To
a
get- to
or
get
to get her,
her
to
to
you.
you.
Or something.
Yeah.
but that's what I'm
But
saying.
he
At the
didn't
end-
yet. He didn't yet.
Didn't yet.
He hadn't given her any money yet.
No.
So he says that to the guy,
Yeah.
To be like, everything's thumbs up a go.
Why-
Good job.
why-
Here's
okay.
I got you a prostitute. We don't know why. He's
The
being
movie
nice to this guy.
could almost be salvageable from this point on, except here's where it takes a turn.
It's
like,
where it takes a turn.
What?
So then Bobby and some other guy burst in the room with masks
well, they
on.
say, Mal goes, I have the big package for you. If you have the little package for me, I'll be by to pick it up.
That's right. That was a weird
I'll come
line.
And he said, "I'll bring my big package if you bring your little one." It was
and-
really sexual.
Yes, the
And
way he
then
said it
Peter-
was
While
very
he's sitting in a
sexual.
tub half naked with women, it was so weird.
And
Peter-
he's just set him up to have. He's about to rape a woman, basically.
Yeah.
As soon as he hangs up this phone.
She's
Yeah.
basically been roofied with money.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and then he says like Mal's coming by later or whatever, but Mal's still in the hot tub with these women, whatever. So then she
Oh,
comes
that's
out of the bathroom and he's like,
He
let's
gets all
fuck.
handsy,
And she's like,
No.
nah. And then
Then
he
he-
rips her dress off of her.
Yes.
100%.
She
Calls him a
her
jerk. Then there's a
breasts
knock
and
on the
underwear.
door.
She
Runs
runs
into
in
the
the
bathroom, closes the door,
That's right.
which is dumb.
Right. She should have just answered the door and been
I
like,
mean,
yo,
gotten
this
the
guy's
fuck
trying to
out of
rape
here.
me.
Cosmically,
Yeah.
it's not dumb because it would have been a bad idea.
Sure, yes.
Yes.
But
But in a normal situation, yes.
you
should.
would yell, help, I'm
Yes.
being raped.
Right.
Yes.
It was the 80s, you know.
Oh, yeah, I guess I
It
didn't
was
do that then.
Think times were
Her
bad.
No, it was
lingerie,
1990.
though,
It was a
her
19
lingerie
well,
was,
stuff was still pretty bad.
was A+. They burst in the room. They kill him immediately.
They shoot him.
Well,
But
the one guy does. The
his,
one guy
his
follows
blood
Peter.
pack goes off before the
yes,
guy
it's so
fires
good.
points
gun.
at his body, and it shoots the opposite direction of which it should.
Yeah, I
It
had
sprays
no
across
idea
the
what
wall,
happened
even though
with
the
that.
guy's pointing through the guy to the other side
At
of the
the
room.
screen,
It doesn't make
yeah.
any sense.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
geography
Tony-
of that death was.
It doesn't.
bonkers.
And it's
Tony. That was Tony.
anticlimactic sound effect
Oh
I've
my
ever
God,
heard.
it was
like,
so lame.
It was like. It was like, did he die? Did his fucking like gallbladder just explode in
Did
his
someone
body?
just slap
That
Robert
was-
Downey Jr.'s ass again?
Yeah.
What was that noise?
He's the first one to die
Somebody
right in the
dropped
movie.
some salami somewhere. Like, what the fuck was that sound?
Ugh.
So then, while that guy's killing Tony,
Bobby opens the bathroom door to kill the girl.
Finds
Ricky in the bathroom.
Ricky, but she.
They've
he
known each other for
recognizes
20
her,
years.
So he
known
doesn't
each
want
other-
to kill
yeah,
her.
Right.
Also, like, I
I didn't
love you
understand.
guys. If you wore pantyhose over your face, I would know who you were
Yes.
immediately. There is no reason she should not have recognized him.
Maybe she did, and she knew that.
Nope,
No,
she
didn't.
did
definitely
not.
didn't.
They
Okay.
address it later. They talk
Yeah.
about it later.
But he lets her go. But he also gives her the guy
The
Tony's
guy's
jacket,
coat. Yes, he does. He
does.
hands her the
No,
coat.
He does,
and
but
she runs out
it
the
is
door.
not. Here's the thing: is that it's not at the time. He just given her a jacket.
Yeah, he's
because
just
she's
giving-
naked
'cause
because
she's-
her
her clothes
Because
are
he
clothes
rips
have
her
been
clothes
ripped
off.
off.
And he's like, "Get out of here!" And
Yeah.
She runs away, and the other guy's like, "Where's the girl?" And he's like, "She got away from me and escaped."
No,
Like,
he
lies.
no, he doesn't. There, he
No,
goes.
he says, "I know her from my childhood.
I
I
didn't-
let her go."
Yeah, I didn't. He's like, "Why'd you
okay.
let the girl go?" He's like, "Oh, dude, I know her. I've known her since we were kids." He lies. They both lie to Mal
that's
later.
right, okay.
So then they tear the place apart and they can't
don't
find it.
They can't
whatever
find
they're looking
it.
for. The
It's
package.
the
little
package.
package.
The little package.
Next
Which
thing,
I like to point out, I totally nailed.
You totally nailed.
we'll
I
get
can't
there.
believe it. We watched too many movies about thumb drives. I was like, it's a computer disc of some kind. I don't
It's
care
always
that
a
it's 1990. It's a fucking
It's a
computer
disc. 1.44 megabytes of data.
Yeah.
Floppy D.
Then we go back to Mal's house. Also, killer crusher scene where they're explaining what happened. They couldn't find the package. They tore the place apart. The girl got away. They didn't want to shoot her because there were people around.
Is this the one where they're in that pit where he's cooking a steak?
Yes.
That's
Man,
dope
the
ass fire pit.
scene.
Steak.
He's cooking a steak. It's
With
a
a
weird fire
giant Bowie
pit.
knife. He's flipping the steak
Yes.
with a gigantic knife.
Yeah, with the Bowie knife.
God damn it.
And so
They tell him what happened.
yeah, and they're like, and
We
they
couldn't
go,
find
and
it
they all go,
anywhere.
and she got out, and she was wearing this trench coat, and they all kind of like universally go, it must be in the trench coat. And then they're like, don't worry, boss, we'll get you that trench coat.
The assumption of the trench coat is so weak. Because
Yeah.
it could be in that room still. They only searched for
Could've
like
been
a
in
They
his
minute.
hotel
emptied
room.
his suitcase and opened
They didn't
a
even
drawer.
look under a bed or
They
anything.
looked nowhere. Well, also, why
Open
did
the
that
bed.
guy?
They have knowledge
Whoa.
that it is a floppy disk. You could put a floppy disk in so many places in a hotel room.
Also, why did that guy have 4 weeks worth of clothes in his hotel room? I'm just realizing this. They ripped
There was a
all
lot
of
of
those clothes
There was a
out
lot
of like his
clothes.
drawers, and like he had a fully packed
He was like
suitcase.
living in a hotel.
Why? Why?
Why?
So
I have no idea. I
They
can't
tell
answer
him
that
that we
To
find
catch-
out later that
yeah,
he's
he
local.
showed up there to make this exchange.
Yeah. Why?
Maybe
catch
they had a
everybody
really
up.
good weekly rate.
I guess so.
to catch
No, but we
everybody
find out
up,
that
right?
he's local later.
You've got Mal,
Tony.
Tony sent Tanya Roberts to be a thing to get slaughtered to fool a guy who was going to give him a disc
In exchange for
Something
money.
on it.
with something on it.
Well, we don't know it's a disc yet. We just
don't
know
know
it's
yet.
a thing.
I'm just saying, look,
Also, why?
he's
No,
a
no.
man of power who has
Now, hold
women.
on.
If you're going to send a woman for a guy that you're going to kill anyway, why her?
That's my entire question with
Yes,
this movie.
it's
Why
just no
her?
reason.
Why did she have to be this pawn?
Also, why did it matter
Because
if
she's
she
super
died or not?
alone.
She's really hot, so she looks like a prostitute.
But
Because
he
she
could get
dresses
a-
like a weird fairy person.
Look, I'm not
and
saying-
she's all hot, and he was like, this guy thinks she's a prostitute. I
I'm
bought
not
for
saying that.
Look, he also planned to murder her, but
Why?
she didn't die.
Why?
did he want to kill her in that room? Because he's about to kill Bobby
So
because he didn't murder her.
So he wouldn't have to pay her? Is that why he wanted
Yeah.
to? And also, why would it matter if she got away anyway? She didn't know that
could
guy.
just turn
she
her
didn't
loan.
know
Anything.
She didn't
he
know
could
anything.
turn her loan down.
Yes.
It's a business decision. I'm just saying,
I mean,
look,
it
not
doesn't
that
make
prostitutes
any
are less
sense.
human beings, but if I was Mal, I would be like, do I want to send the notable businesswoman who owns a bar with her name in it into a fucking, this murder, sex, drug scheme thing that I'm doing, or just go get a prostitute and set her shit up? You know what I mean? Like,
There is
No,
no
yeah,
reason.
no,
this
there's
woman is
absolutely
like
no reason.
running a business and has friends and shit. Or you can find some
He's a sick fucker, man. She's at the end of her rope, and he's gonna cut that shit off.
It just makes so
He's a
little sense.
monster.
It makes no
It
sense
makes
for
no
her.
sense why she would be this
The bait.
useless. He could just go back to his hotel room to sleep, and they could have murdered him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did he? Have
They
to
knew where
feed
he was
him
going.
A woman. like the only way we're gonna be able to get this guy is if we send him a woman so he goes back to his own hotel
The only
room.
way they can kick through a door with machine guns and shoot him immediately is if they distract him with a woman first.
He's the one who answered the door.
It's true.
It's so.
It passes the Bechdel test.
It does, but it's like.
Add it to the list.
This God.
Let everybody know.
Not only is
They'll
it
watch it
insulting
and be
and sexist, it's just like your plan
It's insane.
sucks.
And the plan that means
This woman just wants a loan from your business that does have a functioning side that isn't drug based. I assume.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a real business.
Well, I don't want to
It's
give her a
legitimate
loan.
business.
She needs to fucking die. You could just turn her
It's
down.
madness, dude. It's madness.
It's so
This
insane.
movie makes so little sense from here on out.
And the
Literally,
fact-
like, it completely
He
falls
uses her.
apart
You're
right
right.
here.
He uses her only because she's hot. You're like,
Yeah.
well, she's too hot to live.
Well, she's hot and she needs
How
stuff.
can I murder her?
Wow, let
Let's
me look
just-
at your file. Your life
Her-
sucks.
Let's see.
I'm gonna go kill you in a hotel room. with
I've
some
already got a meat
stranger.
grinder going over here. I'm gonna just throw you in.
her being
That's
in
why
the
we're on the second floor. I just huck people out this little chute in my office. And they go right in the meat grinders.
her being in that hotel room is the crux of the entire rest of the movie. Would not have happened if she had not been in that
And
hotel
that
room.
guy would have went back to the hotel room to sleep, and those
And
men
they
could have
could
showed up at the
shot
door
him.
and shot him and
and
found
found
the jacket.
what they wanted.
And been fine.
It's amazing.
And then she would have been fine.
Yeah.
And
Mal
then they never would have
ruined
crossed
his
paths
whole-
again.
Mal ruined his own plans.
He did by sending her in there.
Yeah, she took the jacket.
It's
So-
crazy.
It's awesome.
It's so crazy. This movie,
It makes such little sense.
there's not enough
It's a
sex
movie
for how
about-
little the plot
It's
makes
coincidences. It's a movie
It's a
about
movie-
coincidences. It is all based on coincidence
was
because
his-
it's totally coincidental that Bobby works for. Mal doesn't know that Bobby and Ricky know each other, have been friends forever.
No.
So it's a total coincidence that the
but you also
hitman
have
that
to
he
acknowledge
sent.
that Mal had a plan, and it was to put this woman in the
Yes.
middle of this murder.
just doesn't make any
She was supposed to die
sense.
for no
She
reason.
was supposed to die because she asked for a loan from his legitimate running business.
He's a fucking monster. He's unhinged. You can't make sense of his
Anyway, we
master
gotta move
plots.
on. Keep going.
So they're in the fire pit and he's cooking the steak and he's like, well, don't worry about it, Bobby. You just need a little pick-me-up. So he brings out a wine goblet full of cocaine and a
Two.
wine goblet full of heroin.
Oh, right.
And he was like, time for a little mix and match. So then you see
You gotta
Bobby get.
understand too. This pit is like a little arena
It's
for
awesome.
cooking steaks. It's
It's-
weird.
It's a
looking.
I love it.
Thunderdome of grills.
It is something that
Yeah,
I
yeah.
could see Phil Dacklow building that
Yes,
in his
Phil
house.
definitely would have it.
It had
Yes.
like spires around the edge
It
where
was
you were sitting.
so
it was
cool.
Very
Yeah.
strange.
I loved it.
I like that he's only cooking one steak too.
So
But-
yeah, so Bobby gets really high. He does doing speedballs or whatever, and then he pulls out that giant
They
knife.
said if it's good enough for Jim Bowie,
It's
It's good enough for Mal.
Whatever his last name
Con-
is.
Conway.
Whatever.
Con-
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I can't remember.
So then he goes
But
over.
Dude, that him
but-
stabbing him was
No, but
so
you
good.
gotta
It
admit,
was
you gotta
so
admit, out
good.
of character though, Mal saying that thing with the Jim Bowie thing was like, wait a minute, you're not that kind of crazy though. You're just a fucking like at first he's just a asshole. Now
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
like, if it's good enough for Jim Bowie, it's like, wait, what are you?
You're a
Are you like-
sociopath too, I guess. He's like
a
H.H. Holmes.
sociopathic nightmare.
He's like
the
H.H.
kind
Holmes.
of
He's
guy-
running insurance schemes and he's
Yeah.
embezzling
He
and he
just
also
loves
murders people on the
bullshit.
How did he
side.
live this long, man?
Yeah.
He's a fucking mess.
Because he's so sexy.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
He just fucks
That
his way
shot
out
of
all
him in
problems.
his fucking underwear getting into the hot tub, close up on the crotch. Ugh,
This is
yes.
literally a scene starts with him pulling his pants down to the camera.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, I've never
Yeah.
been so turned on in my entire
Dude, his
life.
fucking turkey legs is awesome.
So then he stabs the shit out of Bobby. He goes, "This one's for letting the girl get away."
The second one I forget.
We couldn't hear it.
Get it. It was like this.
And the third one.
Oh no, he says, "I know," because it didn't make sense to me at the time.
Yeah.
He says, "This is for Verna. This one's for letting the girl get away. This one's for Verna."
Verna, his secretary?
Is the VP of his
But
company.
what does that mean?
Well,
We
what
find out later that Bobby and Verna were sleeping together. We
Did
find that
we?
out 100 years later when.
That was probably
Way,
when I
way
was
later.
about to fall into
Dude,
a
Yeah,
coma.
that was when you were
would never
falling
fell asleep. I don't remember that at all.
The middle
Yeah,
of this
yeah.
movie got so confusing, I almost fell asleep. I couldn't keep my eyes open.
Dude,
I
you
was like,
fell asleep. It's-
no, I didn't. It was close though. I don't know if you guys noticed. There was one that was very obvious. I was just like,
So you-
"Oh
did you miss the part when Robert Davi said, "Man, that's some legal tender"?
no!"
No, I'm kidding.
There's no way
that did
that
not
happened.
happen. Some legal
I
tender.
didn't
Yeah.
actually fall asleep. It almost happened though. It was losing me hard. I was just like, "What?"
Yeah.
There were scenes where nothing happened.
Oh, we're
You know
getting
what
so
I
No,
mean?
close.
we'll get to it. Robert Davi listens to an answering machine for at least 2 minutes. At least 2 minutes.
For no reason.
We're so far away from there, though.
Okay.
He stabs,
He's-
so he kills Bobby.
And the last
kills
thing he
Bobby.
says is what?
This
this
one is
one's-
just because I like it.
I like it.
He's a
And he
monster.
stabs him with only the tip.
No,
Yeah.
just the tip.
It's like
It's
the
so-
tip. It's like he's dipping the knife into him. It's not- yeah,
pretty good.
It's pretty good.
Oh, man.
So he's dead.
So the next thing that happens is the next poker scene, the last poker scene, the antacid scene.
Okay.
The stomach
Oh,
acid.
which could have been
God.
so much shorter.
It was unreal.
You didn't
We
Why
need
did
just
that guy
watched.
need to walk out of the room?
Why did he have to say his stomach's bothering him 3 times? He could have said it once.
He's like, there's at least
Ugh,
45
ugh.
seconds of watching him rub his
His
tummy.
tummy.
Well, before he mentioned it, I started laughing because it was like, why is that guy rubbing
rubbing
himself?
himself.
He's just like,
What a weird reason
Willie.
for them to go to the house.
oh, that's
Yeah,
what
that's why.
That's why the movie
We
wanted
watched
that.
this very-
It's like you could have found 1,000 reasons for them to just have to go home.
Yeah.
Like we ran out of light
It was
bulbs.
crazy.
Where we have
No,
more light bulbs
right.
back
Again,
in the house.
No, it's
A
all
poker player
coincidence.
has some shit really bad.
Go get him
It's
some
all
Tums.
Coincidence. It's all coincidence because she calls Bud. Oh, yeah, I forgot this part. Bud asks Lori to watch the bar. Bud goes because
And
that
sells
guy
the
walks
heroin
in
with the
sells
terrible
sells the
beard.
cocaine to the guy with the,
The beard is so
Dude,
bad.
this guy walked in and we were all like,
Because they
that's
said
a
they
fake
haven't
ass
seen
beard.
Bobby in like
2
2 days.
But his beard is
But some weird bearded guy
atrocious.
comes in with gold chains on, and why did Bud assume he
Automatically
wanted to buy,
knew
he
that
was
guy
like,
wanted to buy
that guy needs
cocaine.
to buy cocaine. I should
These are-
probably sell it to him.
An enormous amount of
Yes.
cocaine.
Yeah.
A ridiculous amount of cocaine. A
And he doesn't count the
flurry
money.
of cocaine.
He just goes,
No.
okay.
And then they leave.
It's bonkers.
And he sells it to him like in the public bathroom of this bar.
They don't speak.
No,
No,
they don't say anything.
It's just a handoff.
Yep.
He
Why
shows
did
up in
he
the room
do
and
that?
he like leans into a room and like hands it to him and then kind of just leans back
He's like,
out.
well, I hadn't seen Bobby, and I figured these drugs aren't going to sell themselves.
So
Like, what the fuck
Just
are you
assume.
thinking?
Well, I guess if the only Latino man walks in your
But with
bar,
that, I would
it's
never
But
do
he's a
anything with
heroin junkie now.
microaggressions.
I really feel like you downplaying how bad this beard looked. It looked really
very
bad. You would never do
No, you
anything
can see
with
the
this.
glue on the edges.
It's
It was
bad.
glistening.
It looked like a
bad.
small toupee on his chin. It's terrible.
So then, then in the room we find out that Willie's tummy hurts because his wife cooked him food that
I can't
must have been
believe
made in a
you remember
volcano.
his name.
Yeah,
Well, because she looked up everybody at the tables to try to figure out who
Joey
Joey
was. They also say his name like Ricky just keeps saying his
You
name.
gotta get Vinny in an ass.
Yeah, she calls Lori in. She's like, he's like, oh my God, Ricky, do you have any ass? This goes on for so long.
It goes
And
on
she's
way
like,
too
oh
long.
no, Lori, come in here. Can you go to the drugstore and get Willie some antacids? Like, she's really taking care of her poker players. I appreciate it.
No, I love this process. My tummy hurts. Lori, come in here. I need you to go get him some antacid at the store down the street.
She
Lori
opens the
the
door.
It's
It's
raining.
raining.
Well, now I gotta go get a coat. You got a coat? No, I got that one.
Oh, that black trench
the guy
coat.
with the Uzi gave me before I ran for my life after trying to be raped in my
As I
underwear.
saw a person that was murdered.
And I heard a man get murdered as I left the room.
We
And you
skipped-
can use that if you want.
we missed the first
Crazy.
phone call
to go
scene.
instead go to our house, which is right there.
We
Well,
missed
that-
we
Which
missed
is
the first
time we,
Yeah, we missed the
noticed.
first phone call between Ricky and Mal, where Ricky just like lays everything out that happened. Like they're friends.
Oh yeah, Ricky
yeah,
just says
yeah.
everything that happened in the
She's
hotel
like,
room.
and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then
Which
but
is
my
weird
friend
because-
Fix, who's an ex-cop turned PI, is looking into it. And do you know Peter Trask? Because Fix found out that he works for you. And Mal was
Wow,
like,
that's
oh yeah, I know
crazy.
that guy. Yeah, he was one of the best savings
But
and loan
hold-
reps I
think
ever
about
knew.
that for a second though, and that phone call happened after everything.
Yeah.
So
He
Like
knew
2 days
about it
later.
already.
right, but what I'm trying to say is that she's telling him
That's so he knows that
No,
Robert
he
Davi's on
murdered-
the case and
Yeah,
exists.
that's how he finds out about
right,
Robert Davi.
and that's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Is he murdered the other dude who was stabbed? Who was the guy's name that he got
Bobby.
stabbed?
Peter.
Peter.
Which
Bobby
no,
gets
Bob
stabbed.
he stabs Bobby.
Bobby gets stabbed. She.
Meat Thunder, no.
Hold on, I'm confusing myself. It's the fact that from her he finds out that the other guy died, right?
No.
What other
No,
guy?
you're thinking later. That's later.
Oh, okay.
No, this is the first one. This is where he's in the pool and he just has his like hot
He's got
bitches
that-
bringing him
yeah, he's got
phones
that
and,
awesome
Right, he's got that
fucking chair.
awesome chair. in the
awesome
pool,
chair.
Right, I forgot.
and he tells
Yeah,
so
there's
he
topless
finds
women
out that
just sitting next to the pool watching him float, and
yeah.
They're
they don't
giggling
say
and
anything.
talking,
Yeah, they're
too.
giggling like, "Oh, isn't he so hot?" And you're
Yeah.
just like, he looks like fucking spam left out in the sun.
Dude, he
It's
looks-
disgusting.
So you find
Him
out
and Neil Breen need to have sex.
Oh, that would
Oh,
be great.
gross.
That would be
He's
great.
dead. So
Bro, is he?
yeah, he died in like 2001.
Once Neil Breen gets enough money, he
What's that?
what?
Morton Downey Jr. died.
There's teeth
May he
still in the
rest-
business.
Probably.
They rip all his teeth right out of his head. and
I
keep
think
them in the movies.
Gary Busey stole him. I'm sorry, them now.
That'd be awesome.
They'll bite off.
He put Morton Downey Jr.'s upper teeth on it as his lower teeth. It's a
Bite through a
nightmare.
tree trunk.
Yeah.
But that's when Mal sends Tony to go get the coat.
Yes.
So
when,
Lori runs in the house, grabs the coat.
Okay.
Lori leaves.
Important information there too. He tells Tony to go get the coat. He doesn't tell Tony the specifics of why the coat is important.
No,
No,
that's
no,
a
he-
later scene.
yeah,
Right, but
even
in this
still,
scene, though,
Tony
he
knows
still
that the
doesn't.
package is in the
I'm
coat.
saying in this scene though,
He's-
he should inform Tony.
No, you're thinking.
It doesn't
of,
matter
No, you're
in
thinking of
this
someone
scene.
else. It doesn't matter in the scene
because it's not.
Tony
in the
already
house.
knows. Tony already knows what's in the coat
Oh, okay.
because Tony was one of the first people who was sent to get the coat.
Okay,
to get the
right.
package.
You're right. Okay.
So
God, I didn't fall
Tony-
asleep either.
Tony gets into the house, except Lori just ran out wearing the coat to get antacid for Willie, who's at the poker game.
Mhm.
And then for some reason, Robert Davi and Ricky go back home too, and that's
There's a scream.
is there?
I feel like you're skipping something.
I'm not.
No, because this is Robert Davi and Tony get into a fight
Get
in
in
the
the fight
street,
in the rain, in the mud.
in the mud, in the alleyway between the bar and the house. and then Ricky shoots
Tony in the leg.
Right.
Because
And
he's
he runs
beating the
off.
shit out of Robert Davi, and he runs away.
And he
But I
goes to
can't think
Mal's.
of why they know that he's in the house.
I don't remember why they went home. Yeah, I don't remember
Yeah.
why they left the poker game and went to the house. But I guess that doesn't matter.
Oh, they were like, "Why is it taking so long?"
Oh,
It's been an hour.
I think-
Lord.
wow. I think they were like, "Where?
Talk
Lori's
about
been
running
taking a
around
long
trying
time."
to figure something out. Christ.
I think that's what it was. I think they were like, "Lori's
Oh,
taking
she's
off
been
a
gone
long
for too
time."
long. But it didn't matter because she was out
And then
just
when they
getting
walk in,
antacid.
he's realized it's not in the house, and he just has the gun.
has a
And
gun.
is like, "Where the fuck is it?" And that's why it happens.
Yeah,
Okay.
he doesn't even say what he's looking for. But so they get into a fight. He shoots him in the leg. He runs off. He goes to Mal, and he tells Mal, and Mal gives him like a
Pays him $100,000 for
$100,000
not doing his job and getting shot.
Yeah.
It's
so
insane.
weird. Yeah.
What is he paying all these people? I just don't understand, like, what his business model
They should make
is.
him sadistic and like they should give him a reason to enjoy fucking with people
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it would have made sense why he does anything.
So he pays this guy $100,000, tells him to go relax. He'll take
care of it, yeah.
We'll figure this out.
But he does plan on
Because he was
murdering
supposed to. Yeah, that's what he says.
Well, that's why the next thing happens where
why
now,
not-
then we have the sex scene. The wet kitchen sex scene with the two body doubles.
Oh my god!
yes, this is a sex scene between Robert Davi
Close-ups
and
of their heads.
fucking beautiful.
Oh,
It starts
so
with
good.
them. It's gross because he's weird looking and it's not cool.
Yeah, his
And then-
skin looks like fruit leather. It's really big.
Yeah. So, but once they start really getting into it, because it just cuts to this like ass grabbing, like mushing scene of just
It's
an
not
act-
their bodies at all, man.
It's not
No.
them anymore.
And then that's the
It's
wide
some
shot.
bitch in a
wide
wig.
shot is so good because their
It's the-
faces are just buried in each other's
The
bodies
opposite
in
way
weird
of the
ways.
camera, and it's so obvious it's not the two humans that we were just
The
seeing.
woman
so
is wearing
cut.
a wig.
Yeah,
She's wearing a really obvious wig, and the other guy is in much better shape
Than
He's like-
Robert Davi.
Yeah, that dude is toned the fuck out. And I was like, that's not his bicep. Look at that bicep; it's huge. It's
Yeah.
gigantic. He is not that in shape.
No,
He's
Amazing.
kind of doughy.
unbelievable.
Pretty good.
It was great. So then the next morning, she's like lying in bed and she's like, I don't want to go to work and like whatever. Or maybe that was me this morning. I don't remember. But
Because everything else in this movie happened to me one time, but that's not neither here nor there.
It's neither here nor there.
that's the only one that happened today.
They get a phone call from Tony who says, your girlfriend's trying to find out about Peter Trask. I can tell you everything. Bring me $20,000. I'm at this motel.
I'm splitting town. Bring it to me like whenever I'm getting out of here.
2 p.m. 2 p.m. And
He's sitting
then
there, he's sitting in a chair with his leg up with the gun wound in it.
And he's wearing a really fucking stupid shirt.
shirt.
oh,
Yeah.
I loved that
That
shirt.
God.
I loved it
Ugly.
with
It's like
the.
here's
And he's watching
here's plot.
cartoons.
Just on the screen, it was on his shirt. Like
Yeah.
it's
It
gonna be
did-
a plot point.
It wasn't,
It wasn't.
but it was. They made a really big deal out of whatever was on his fucking shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't understand what it meant.
Yeah. So Robert Davi is like, well, I guess we're gonna go meet that, and then we skip to the bar, and that's Lori and Bud's sex scene on the pool table.
Which makes no sense. It's broad daylight.
Broad daylight, the bar's open.
Except the stools are still on the bar, and
Like,
they're just
the
playing
door's
pool.
He's
open.
a
The door's
heroin
open.
addicted like invalid as far as everyone else is concerned that runs this bar, and this girl
Who is his roommate
who's his roommate, half his age,
and his only coworker other than his sister.
start fucking on a pool table in the middle of the day.
What was the line? Oh, she's like, pool's my favorite game. He goes, well, my favorite game
No,
is...
she says, "What's your
No,
favorite game?" And he said, "My favorite game is
He doesn't say
He
anything. It
doesn't
just
finish
is
it,
dot,
yeah.
dot, dot. And then,
And then
they start
my
fucking.
favorite game is having sex with you."
Yeah, it's pretty much
Weird.
Right now.
Then two police officers come in and arrest Bud
for narcotics trafficking.
for selling the hay. He's like, what do you mean? And he's like, what am I under arrest for? And the other guy goes, for selling heroin to me. And he puts the glasses on. He goes,
It's
oh,
like,
damn it.
No!
that beard was fake.
And they're like, oh, and then
awesome.
Lori interjects and she's like, no, Bud's just a user.
He's just a user.
Bobby's the dealer. And they're like, we just pulled his body out of the Santa Monica Bay, which is crazy. So then Lori calls Ricky and is like, Bud's just been arrested and Bobby's dead. So then they get on the motorcycle.
Oh man,
Oh yeah.
the trailer shot, which was so obviously a
Oh.
trailer.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happened. Bobby, no, they do get on the motorcycle, the trailer shot, you're right.
Yeah.
But they're going different places. She goes
God
to
damn it.
breakfast with
With-
Mal
with-
and tells him literally
Everything.
Like, my brother just got arrested. Our friend Bobby just died. And he's like, you're so surrounded by death and sadness. And then we see Robert and Davi driving to the motel. But she also tells him.
At this point, Robert Davi does not know that Mal's involved, right?
No, neither of them know. And she tells him that guy Tony, who was the guy who shot and broke into my house last night, he just called us and said he has all this information. Give him $20,000.
This
and then
movie's
she's like
like if you just hung outside of a bunch of
They're
white
like-
trash motherfuckers in like Dundalk. Like, you know, motherfucker that broke into my house last week. This movie, it's just like this is the ramblings of a meth head.
It really is.
And it's just like, why are you telling this person? It's like basically like going out to lunch with your realtor. Like, why?
Like, you don't know him.
Do you not have any friends? Like, is this how sad? Are you that broke and that hungry that you're just trying to get this guy to buy you meals
Why not?
all the time?
Why
While
not
you
start
literally
this
tell
movie
him
out with them having a pre-made relationship? You can write anything. You don't have to have them meeting.
Because
that
then
guy
he
from
wouldn't-
TV, Bob.
Because then she wouldn't be meaningless enough to him for him to send her into the hotel room in the first place. But I
guess
just
I'm
don't
saying, write a
understand.
different
I just don't
movie.
understand why.
That's my problem. How dare you not just write a different movie with the same characters?
So she goes, I'm going to go visit my brother in jail. And while her and Fix go to prison. I know. They said
It's such a mess. It's
Mal sends the hitmen to Tony's hotel room.
Yes, I
where
love
Fix
that.
is.
No,
No,
they're
they're
at
not
the
yet. They're
prison.
headed. They're going there.
Yeah,
They're
that
at jail.
renegade shot.
But I love that guy comes in. One guy comes in and like mushes his face in. The other guy comes in and kicks him in the bullet wound. I love that. I thought that was so good.
Yeah, the
He's
kick to
like,
the bullet wound was pretty
"Ugh."
good.
Yeah, that was good.
He's already shot. He's already been shot, and he's like kicking you in the leg.
So yeah, then
Pretty
we
good.
cut to prison and they're having a conversation with Bud where Bud's just basically asking for drugs.
He's like, you gotta get.
I'm
me
doing really
fixed.
bad. I need some. Yeah.
I need a doctor.
I need
I'm
a fix.
sick.
Fix.
I need a you. I need a you.
I need
That was
you.
that
Yeah.
terrible joke that you made,
I
Bob. It was awful.
Somebody. It's a drug movie, and his name is Fix. I think somebody should have made it.
Yeah.
No, you did it. You made it.
Well, I feel like I did better than half the lines.
I'm proud of you.
You know, you did much better than a lot of those.
So
lines.
then he says something about a gas station. Bud says something like, I used to meet him at a gas station by the old Greek theater.
Okay.
Which
Oh.
literally comes back 2 more times, but never means anything.
Never means anything.
Does not mean
Oh.
fucking anything.
Those things don't mean anything in this.
Yeah. So then they show up at the motel.
I wish movies.
He
were still
tells
like
her.
this.
He tells her to wait
It's
outside.
unchecked.
This
No
is
one
like-
even cared. It's just-
No.
They shoot a bunch of shit and somebody edits it
telling
together
you,
and puts it
man.
on VHS tape.
We watch Safe, right? Safe is like this.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
Safe
yeah.
is like a newer version of this movie,
movie.
where you're just like, what's even happening anymore?
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Yeah, they get the
They
he
get-
steals. He pays the guy for his pizza and the hat because he
Yeah,
just
so he can
assumes that there's
deliver
some
it.
kind of problem.
He
Well, no,
knocks on the
he
door.
knows that he's about to give this guy a bunch of money. He just, he wants to make sure it's not a trap.
And it was in fact a trap.
And it still was a trap. But he
Murders someone.
He
He's
murders
sitting
2
entire-
guys in this room when he kind of doesn't even know the
What's
grand
fuck's
scheme of
going
things.
on?
Of
No.
what he murders 2 potentially innocent people. They could have been undercover cops.
Yeah.
He attacked the guy with a pizza. That guy's gonna try and defend
He
himself.
wasted that pizza. Looked great.
It
That looked
did.
like a great
It had
pizza.
everything on
It
it,
did.
Bob.
It did.
I'm
was
so
awesome.
hungry and I'm so cold.
It's terrible here.
This
It's
is awful and I hate it. And we're not even in the voicemail scene yet. I want to die.
We
I
gotta
wanna
get through this.
die.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. It's so cold.
Okay, so then Ricky takes
live here.
Ricky
All
takes
right.
Fix to meet Mal for the first time. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, he's gonna help us. And Mal, for no reason, is like, no, I don't like him. And she's like, you're acting like you're in high school. And he goes, I'll see you at the prom. And he walks
Yes.
out.
Right.
And then we get him the renegade shot of him riding his motorcycle
Alone.
So useless.
40 seconds to his house. We see him
Listen
come
to
in,
voicemails.
I like the idea of you counting.
listen to his voicemail. I forget the first
It
one
was
is a
like from his
client.
There's 3
It was like a
voicemails.
client, his mom, and somebody else.
And Ricky.
right?
And then Ricky
And
being
Ricky.
like,
Why
I'm
not
really sorry.
just cut it to the Ricky one?
I don't know.
At this point in this movie,
the one from his mom was so long. I was like, that was when I started starting to fall asleep. I was like, I don't understand
Dude,
why.
if that was like,
I was about to
many
pass
messages.
out.
I wish the movie was then finished off with just answering machine. Like, oh my god, Fix, get over here. They just you know what I mean? Like people just start calling him, and telling him what's happening. It's like.
This was the point where I was almost falling asleep. That scene ended, and I realized I was like, did I fall asleep and miss the plot of this scene? And I asked you, and you were like, yeah, no, nothing, absolutely nothing just happened.
Because then we have the overdub of Bud saying the thing about the gas station in the theater, where he's just sitting there remembering.
He remembers 2 lines that don't have anything to do with the plot.
No, because the next thing we see, he's at Berna's house. How did he know? How did he find out?
Well, he looked at the thing on the shirt.
And that also meant nothing.
And then he knew the thing about the Greek club and the answer machine.
And then,
see, you're not getting it. His mind is a computer that took all the relevant information
and led him to Verna Wheeler.
Verna was it equals Verna, and he went there and said he was a water salesman.
No, he did not. No, he didn't.
Jesus Christ. He didn't
She
say
answers the door in her underwear, and he's like, Miss Wheeler, and she's like, if it was Mrs., I wouldn't have answered the door. And she immediately starts trying to fuck him.
Mm-hmm.
She gets into his lap.
Then she asks him who he is.
He's like, what are you here for? He's like, I'm here on business. I work for Spring Valley.
That's right. And she goes,
bottle water?
And
Yeah.
then she keeps hitting him. We were like, what is...
Are you gonna fuck a guy representing a bottled water company?
Yeah, she's like,
you have no clue what's going on right now.
I hope I'm interested
like
in what you're selling. Yeah.
I just want to fuck you, dude.
And then he says, no, I'm an insurance salesman. I'm here because Robert Prescott was found in the Santa Monica Pier. And then she immediately covers herself up and goes, Bobby's dead. And he's like, yes, Vernon. And she goes, Miss Wheeler. I was like, you literally just put his vagina on him. Your vagina was on him. And now you're like really upset. And that's where we find out that they had some kind of relationship, Vernon and Bobby.
Right.
Yeah, because he was like, it seems like you know him on a personal and social level.
I'm assuming she had sex with literally everyone.
Everyone she's ever met in her entire life.
They had to make her want to fuck the water salesman.
the water.
Not even a salesman, a representative.
She doesn't even know why
I just want to talk to you about water in bottles. I need your penis inside me immediately.
My God.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Speaking of West, God.
She can fuck whoever she wants to fuck. It's great. It's good for her.
It's just a confusing character.
Yeah.
That's really, it doesn't matter if she's fucking. It's just like, what is happening?
We find out that she's the vice president of Hearth and Home in that scene too. Like the actual, like the vice president.
Yeah.
And then what happens is, and then we have the scene with Lori and and then it turns into a horror movie. We see the guy break into the house. We see him get the coat.
A different guy comes for the coat.
He disappears.
He hides
in the house.
closet.
He puts on the coat.
And she goes in the closet and he's not there.
And he's not there.
He hangs out.
Then she took the shower curtain back and he's not there.
I wish it went supernatural right here. That'd be amazing.
That would be unbelievable. And then she opens the linen cabinet and then he's there.
He's behind the door.
And he's like, don't, and he pulls out a switchblade and he goes, don't scream or I'll fucking kill you. And then I was like, please don't make us watch you rape this woman.
And
no, instead he just stabs her for no reason.
Well, he starts like running the knife along her boobs and stuff. And then he stabs her right in the middle of the chest.
Yeah,
she is superfluous to the whole plan. All he had to do was get that jacket and leave the house.
He could have waited for her to get into the bath and then left.
I'm going to assume that guy has some problems.
He's a professional. They say that later. He was like the most professional person that Cal had ever had.
He didn't want to leave any tracks, so that's why he left a dead body.
Yeah.
He could have literally committed this break and entering crime without anyone really knowing.
Yeah.
Which would be a perfect crime.
He saw her outside of the house after he had already put on the jacket. All he had to do was go, I'll just exit through a window on the other side of the house.
And then I'll give Mal back his information and no one else has to die.
I'll give him back the coat. Because this is where Mal didn't tell him what he was going there for.
Right.
He told him to get the coat.
Which is unfathomable.
So he stabs her in the chest. As she's dying, she's like sliding down the coat. And I can't believe what happened.
Can you imagine writing that on a page?
I know. Be like, well, then as she dies, she rips the computer disc that's inside of this coat.
At this point, we didn't know what it was.
Yeah,
no idea. It said a computer disc. We didn't.
There
I
it
was like,
was.
come on, there's no. When this movie,
We thought it was like super
said
heroin.
I
chick.
haven't even seen a computer yet.
Yeah, right. And she happens in her last moment of life. Rips a 3.4 floppy disk or whatever.
Yeah, 3.5 inch like hard
or
fuck.
whatever it was,
Yeah.
and then she rips that out of the jacket, and as he leaves, because he was never told why and what he was stealing.
Therefore.
Yep. So he's just like,
That means
time
that
to go.
Mal.
I
That means that
stabbed
Mal
that woman
hired
in her underwear.
a professional killer to go steal something, and he assumed that they just never checked the pockets of the jacket.
Yeah.
He assumed that
They didn't find the
that
floppy
she
disk.
never looked through the jacket. She just
You know
put it in her
what? I like
closet.
that. I like that. Let's hire somebody professional. I kill people, sir. Look, I just need a jacket. Do you understand? There's a jacket in this house, and I need you to bring it to me.
But wait a minute,
No,
sir. Let me ask you something.
I get paid to murder people, though. He's like, the jacket,
But wait,
please,
here's
and
the-
only the jacket.
Here's the other end of the
And
conversation.
he's like, well, I got the jacket, and what else was I supposed to... No, I kill people. There's a lady. Good, here we go.
It's like,
Stab.
well,
But here's
I'm
the
outta
other
here.
half of that conversation where the murderer is like, well, wait, the woman whose house I'm breaking into to get the jacket, you do know her, right? Yes. Does she
live with anyone?
Does she think you're her friend? Yes, she does. So you could literally get in the house without having to break in and steal the jacket yourself. Well, yes, but I'm gonna pay more money out to you to go break in a house and to not murder anyone. And I'm not going to tell you why you're doing it. Just
I
give
didn't
me the
even fucking
jacket.
think about that.
That's so
he could have
good.
just gotten into her house.
So she's your
He
friend?
could have just come
Did you
over for
trust him?
dinner.
It's like your father at this point. He could walk in the house and say, I'm freezing. Do you have a jacket I can wear?
You know, you could go, you owe me $80,000. I own your house now. Like, you know what I mean?
Dude,
you
you could
just lean
go
on
in
her.
the house and
There's
say,
so many different things.
There's
that
so
could
many
happen.
ways you can get this
Unbelievable.
jacket instead of hiring a murderer to break.
Holy shit. I
It's
didn't even fucking
amazing.
think about that.
I also like that she's still like, she was never suspicious of Mal, even though he set her up. Or she doesn't know he got set up.
She doesn't know.
I forgot, sorry.
So,
Isn't that amazing that at this moment in time, Mal is on her good side? He
Yeah.
could waltz into her life.
Take that coat.
Like,
and
Still,
hey,
move.
nice
and-
coat. Where'd it come from?
They have dinner after this scene. They like there's after this there's a scene.
That's the Soylent Green scene.
Right, I'm saying like this woman died. She died for such nothing from so many different angles.
Yeah, and
in
she
the
died.
dumbest way possible.
Just to propel the plot. Like,
We're up to a body count
So
of
that
5.
way Fix would be like on the case.
Yeah.
He's like, well, this
5?
can't happen.
no, now they're killing people outright. I can't have
They're
it.
killing.
5 people. 5 people are dead because of the coincidence.
No
This
idea.
podcast has just taught me about awareness and character. It's like I hope when I write stuff that I can like make sure
Figure
that
out
my
what- yeah.
characters need to know things when they need to know it and don't when they don't need to, because I've never realized in movies just how little people realize things.
There's
Five,
again,
five
the
people
movie
are
where
dead
like,
because his
you watch
hitman
someone make a-
coincidentally knew the mark.
Like
5 people are dead.
5 people. And no one seems to have any concept at this point of what's exactly going on.
No.
At all.
Nor do
it's
we.
a fucking confusing web of horseshit. It's pretty hard to get into.
Like
you know what
Mal,
I mean?
but I'm saying Mal's smart enough and he's on top of everything where he would be like, I don't really need to hire a hitman to get this jacket. I'm basically manipulating her mind.
Yeah.
He's manipulating her to an extreme extent and he just can't get a piece of clothing.
It's true.
It's nuts. Christ, he can hire somebody to act like her friend for a day and just get
And
in
just
her
get it.
house and hang out and then steal the jacket. Oh, man, whatever.
Whatever.
It's amazing.
It is unbelievable.
How is it not police evidence when they knew that she had been with
That is also
the other guy?
very true.
Right.
Like they
Why
would,
is-
why
why didn't
she
the
wouldn't
cops
have brought
take
up
Why
it?
isn't
like
it in the police station?
when she was like, yeah, I
and
put
now
a,
hire somebody to break in a police station who's a professional.
It is. That's not this movie though. In this
Yeah.
movie,
That would make sense to hire a
in this,
professional for that.
yeah,
in
yeah.
this movie, they come home and
You're
find it.
breaking into a suburban home, which 90% of the time people are at the bar. Like, there's times that this house is completely empty.
Yeah. They're all at work for most of the day. Because that bar's open.
God, she dies for such nothing. It's
After this is when I kind of stopped paying attention. But the next thing that happens is that they put the floppy disk in the computer with the best fucking
Yes,
file names
God,
of all
man.
time.
This guy
The Bad Mal
What
file.
was his name?
Peter Trask.
He was blackmailing Mal, and he put it. He like made like a pre-PowerPoint presentation of I know what you were doing, and it like spelled things out for like in such baby terms that they were like,
cocaine.
well, who else could we?
Illegal things
Who else could we
done? List.
Dude, that
It's
one
a list.
number 6 was other illicit substances.
Other than the large
There
cocaine
was some
purchases.
PA on this movie. They're like, fill this out, and he was like, "What should I put here? I don't care."
We just need things about
other
drugs.
illicit substances. All right,
How's your heating pad, Bob?
it's good.
Is it keeping you warm?
Yeah,
My feet are. I can't feel them anymore.
this kitchen is
I
ridiculous.
hate it. Anyway, so then they figure out.
Oh,
I
man.
spend, I spend most of my time in a bed under a comforter in the summer.
It's awful. It's fucking crazy, man.
That's when Fix and Ricky realize that Mal is a bad dude and he's embezzling and he's into drugs, and like they figure out that he's wrapped up in all of this.
Right.
So they call the cops, and it's the same cop who put her brother away.
Yeah, the gray-haired old
The guy who
man.
kind of looks like Ferris Bueller's dad.
Yes.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and they're
He's
like,
not. He just looks like
Oh,
him.
yeah.
we've been trying to get him for years. We've never been able to pin anything onto him. This is all we need. And they're like, you need to go out to breakfast with him to figure it out. But before that, Verna
Why
calls
did they
him.
need more than this disc?
I don't
Just
know.
Kill this man. Just
Yeah,
go to
just-
his fucking mansion and shoot him in the head. Like,
Or just like
Oh,
arrest
they needed
him.
somebody that worked there to verify that it was true.
Yes.
That
Right.
it wasn't all just fake. That's what it
Yes.
was.
So,
it could
but
just be some list.
That's why I was saying that they had the thing where they're like, well, who could we do that with? And in the file, it was like, Verna Wheeler knows all about
Yes.
this and can testify that this is all true.
yes.
It said that. It's God, that disc is great.
But before they could talk to Verna again, Mal shows up at her. She calls him and she tells him Fix is onto them. So he shows up at her house. And he's like, come on, baby, we're getting out of here. You and me and all
Right.
my money. And
God, what-
yeah. And then they start having sex.
Who?
Wait.
Mal and Verna. Remember, he's like, you didn't pack your
Oh,
robes?
yes.
She's like,
I really don't feel like his
No.
penis was pulled out.
They
No.
did not start having sex. She tried to pull his dick
They
out.
were just,
and
like,
I think he was like,
foreplay.
I'm about to kill you. I don't feel like fucking.
no, he laid her down and thrusted at least 2 times and
Yeah,
then
but it was
smothered
like
her with a
It
pillow.
was grinding.
It was like
It was
grinding.
just heavy petting.
At best.
Foreplay.
I just don't need to see that man have sex anymore.
No. I mean, no one wants to ever
No.
see half the men in this movie have sex. They're
No, God,
They're
it was
all gross.
awful.
gross
Awful.
as shit.
It's not good.
Then he puts a pillow over her face, kills
her.
With maybe the scariest shot in the movie, that
6.
POV. Yeah. Morton Downey
He kills her with the
Jr.
Body
smallest
count up
pillow
to 6.
probably
Yeah, it's so
you
tiny.
could kill someone
and
with.
it's shaped
Dude.
like a heart.
No, I mean, like, that's a... He
They had
stabbed
just enough
someone.
surface area to cover a face.
He's not just a crime boss. He's like...
He's a sociopath.
He's into killing people. 'cause-
He's H.H. Holmes.
Yeah.
He's a
He's
businessman.
he's really into killing.
Yep.
So she's dead.
So he gets Bud out of prison.
I guess she's just dying, and her body is never...
How does
No.
he just get Bud out of prison?
Pays, I guess. We
He's
find out
powerful.
at the end of the movie that the cops are on his payroll.
Or at least that one.
That one.
The one.
But that one is still the one saying that they were going to get Bud. He's the one who
Okay,
arrested
He's
him.
the one who arrested him. Okay. All right.
Wait a minute.
Bob, stop. We don't have time to stop it.
No.
What?
No, because
What?
assumedly, if that guy was on the payroll the whole time, he was literally standing in a room with the two of them when they were showing him the evidence.
Yeah, he could have just taken it and destroyed it.
He could have shot them both in the head.
Yes.
Bob,
Do you hear what I just said?
yes.
Yeah.
So many
It makes
things that
such
could have happened.
small amount of sense.
It's almost as if at every moment they came to a decision needed to happen. Let's make the hardest one. Let's make the one that is the hardest.
How would Mal
makes this the most
not do
difficult?
something? Okay.
No, we could just do this. No.
Dude, you're rich enough, just fucking blow up their house while they're sleeping. I mean,
Just buy
who
the
cares?
property. The bar's failing. Buy the bar. Take over their whole life.
Yeah, do like It's a Wonderful Life it. Just like ruin them financially.
Yeah, make
From
them
the
have a
inside
yard
out.
sale, and then walk up and buy the jacket for fucking $2. That would have been so good.
but the point is
We gotta
that
have a yard sale.
that cop-
Save Ben's
that
or
cop-
Bud's
the
medical
cop was
fund.
probably crooked from the beginning.
Yeah.
He was in a room with the two people who then he knew were trying to blackmail his boss.
Yeah, or turn him in. They were
He
trying to
had
get
a
him
gun
arrested.
on him in a room with those two people, and everyone's murdering everyone anyway.
Yeah. 6 people are dead.
Just so I can kill more people. You're a cop. You can cover it up. You're apparently really good at everything.
I don't know what to say anymore.
And why would he even? Why? My question is, why would a cop who's being paid off by a person arrest that person's drug dealers? Because that's what he was there to do, is arrest Bobby and Bud. Why would he arrest them if they're working for the same person?
Oh my god.
No. Oh, no.
My god, it's too much.
Yeah, why the fuck would
Why would they
want
arrest
to put Bud in prison?
Yeah, they're working for the same person.
At the time, they didn't know they would need it for leverage.
Yeah.
Nope.
And they know that they could kidnap Bud literally at any time. They're just a fucking limp idiot. They can always kidnap him, so...
Yeah. Why send him to prison at all?
It's harder to get him...
Oh my
it's harder to
God.
put him in prison and then get him out so you can kidnap him than to just straight kidnap him.
And that's what
Because you're
happened.
involving the authorities by putting him in prison.
Now he has a record. Yeah.
God damn it, it makes sense.
And now there's also a record. Yeah. So Mal gets Bud out of jail. Mal gets Bud out of jail, and they go back to Mal, and there's like, it's a surprise for your sister. Don't say anything. So they go back to his house. And then some shit happened that I stopped paying attention to, and I think you were asleep.
This is where the cop is like, all right, we need to get into his house and confront him with the disc. And,
Yeah.
And you'll wear a wire, and we'll get him to confess.
Oh yeah, it's that
Right.
scene where she's wearing that great white crop top. With,
I can't remember what happened, but that
White
top was
jacket.
fucking
She
with
looked
the,
bullshit.
with
Trash.
yeah, she had like the Coke spoon pirate pin. I
Oh,
was
yeah,
super into it.
yeah.
It was like crossbones and a little Coke spoon. I liked it a lot. Don't remember a goddamn word they said.
It wasn't
Not a
anything
fucking
more than what
word.
matches.
Yeah,
said.
they're
It's
just
mostly
hatched the
just
plan.
we have the copies of this disc.
We're gonna trick him into admitting that this
Which
information
is
is true.
true.
Where you're gonna wear a wire. They put a wire on Robert Davi. They get in the house,
And we're finally at the climax of the goddamn movie.
and I'm about to die.
Yeah.
I will. My
And they
heart.
pretty much tell him everything we just said. They say to Mal, they're like, "Here's the disc. It's true, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." And
What do you want to do about it?
And they're like, "We have other copies, and
if we die, they'll get out."
they didn't really say that,
No,
but
well,
they said
animated it.
you'll get them all once you pay out
Yeah.
to us
And he's like, "What do you want?" And they're like, $2 million.
$2 million.
He's like, "You're out of your mind."
Then they're like, "Well, that's we had to have a little bit of insurance." And he's like, "Well, I've got some insurance of my own."
Hey, I've also recently gotten into the insurance business. This is line.
Then they-
Everything's like worded too much. Like it's just 2 to 3 too many words per sentence when someone's trying to be like cool. And you're like, shut up.
So they bring out Bud on a balcony.
Yeah, he's got a gun on him.
Then we
Like,
find out the
"No,
cop
bud."
is dirty. And
No,
the-
well, that's when Robert Davi's like, "Well, guess what? I got a wire on, and the cops are here. You're busted." And the cop comes out, and he's got a gun on.
Yeah, on Robert
Mal.
Davi. Mhm.
No, he's got
Oh,
the
got
money
him
on
on
Mal
Mal.
first, and then Mal goes, "Well, it's time for me to play my last card." And then the cop, they're standing in a position where like Robert Davi and Mal are directly in the same line. So when he's trained the gun on Mal. And then he goes to switch it to Robert Davi.
It's simple geometry, man.
He barely moves.
And they're like, "Oh,
Oh my God. And you're like, dude, he moved 2 inches.
As an audience member, I would have been like, "What?" I was like, "What?" Did this? It looked like he was
It
just
was
slightly
awesome.
he had an itch, and he's like, "Oh." The gun moves such a small amount.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they were all just like, my
could-
God.
You can literally set that scene up any way you want. The cop could have walked closer.
He could have stepped out of the middle of where there's about to be gunfire
Right.
because he thinks he's won. There's a lot of things, again, that they could have
They've
done.
done.
If they
They
did the
didn't.
hardest and most difficult thing to overcome.
Yep.
Or figure out.
So he tries to shoot Fix.
You know what we skipped over, but
What?
is Mal looking at the camera.
Oh, fuck.
There's a
Looking at the
moment
camera?
in
There's
this
a scene where
movie
Mal's-
where Morton Downey Jr. looks at the
It was
fucking
before,
camera.
it's when he tells Verna to go pack, and Verna goes,
I love you
I
to
love-
death.
I love you to death.
And then he
looks at the fucking camera. We were all like, wait a minute.
Oh yeah, we missed
and
that
they left
scene.
it in editing.
Yeah.
It's him going like, "You know what's gonna happen." Like-
Oh, so awful.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
anyway,
yeah, this is
yeah.
where Fix shoots the dirty cop on the shoulder.
Yeah, and it like has that Man of Steel like pew.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. There was an explosion where the bullet hit him. I don't
He's
understand what
actually a
happened.
RoboCop.
Yeah.
opposite
He tries
robot.
to shoot Fix. They shoot the floor. He gets out of the way. Bud.
Oh fuck! Bud dives off because Robert
Robert
Davi
Davi
shoots the guy.
The most
holding him
sympathetic
hostage.
character in
7.
the movie.
Number 7.
Dives off the balcony. The most sympathetic character, Bud.
The guy who the whole movie people are going, he's in so much pain he can barely move.
He's a true hero. Dives off the balcony to save his sister.
And
from
knock
Mal
Mal
with
into
the
the
gun.
pool.
But Mal shoots him.
Gets
On the
fucking
way
shot,
down.
and he bleeds to death in a pool.
He's dead.
And he dies. 8 people died. 8 people died because of a random coincidence.
What a
Oh.
feel-good movie.
8 people died.
That guy did not need
because
to
of
die.
a fucking coincidence. But from a series of coincidences, 8 people are dead.
And then Mal gets...
No.
Yeah, and then the next shot is
Fix
them on the...
Yeah, Fix has the gun on Mal.
On Mal.
In the pool, and he's like, "You're finished." And
Yeah.
then it shows Bud bleeding all over the place, and you're like, "Jesus."
Like, he didn't...
And then
Why
the,
did he die?
Why
to
kill
him?
him? Why they didn't need to kill him at all? They already killed off Lori. Like
They
the
killed
one
everyone.
innocent.
that. We
They
had
He
killed
had
that.
an
everyone
innocent.
in Ricky's life.
Yes.
I also really, really enjoy this next. So that happens.
Oh
then it
yeah,
cuts
this is
to-
really good.
So it
Birds
cuts-
on a beach.
Wait, what?
It cuts to birds on a
Yeah,
beach.
there's one thing before that.
No,
Well,
there's,
where it shows them where they changed. When did they show that they changed the name of the bar?
They
no,
changed-
after.
That's after this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, go.
But they're birds on the beach, and it's a fucking far away motherfucking shot. The motorcycle, they're holding each other.
Overdubbed.
Overdubbed.
Yes.
Of him being like,
I
I'm
couldn't
really
save
sorry
him."
I couldn't save him, Ricky. And she goes, don't torture yourself. There's enough of that in this life. That is
Like,
literally
bitch, you're
The
fucking...
person who like described her crippling her brother as he had an accident. I happen to be
destroyed
driving.
everybody's life.
the entire movie is about getting this guy help. If he didn't need help, none of this would exist.
And you kill him.
It
You could have
killed
let him live through dialogue.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
said, I'm sorry, your brother got shot. Oh, he'll be okay.
He's
Doctor
just a
said
little
it-
bit more crippled than he already was.
Yeah, the doctor said he'll be fine.
Yes. There was no reason to kill him off.
There's no reason.
All right.
Not a
So then it
goddamn
And
one.
she is so flippant about his death. Like, well, don't
Don't worry about it.
You know?
She's been grieving over it for years. She's just over it. She's glad it's finally over.
Yeah,
deal with
he's
this
done.
shit anymore.
Well, I
Yeah.
just want to point out that she now changes the name of the bar from Ricky's
Ricky's
place to Bud and Ricky's place, where she's already
You could have done that when
disfigured
he
her
was...
while he was alive and was crippled and still worked for you.
And it was also a bar that was left to both of you by your parents.
yes,
What a shitty sister,
she
man.
sucks, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
And then
kind
you-
of sucks.
The bar is hopping.
Yeah,
the
the bar's
bar's
good
hopping.
again.
Well, now that nobody's getting murdered,
They,
everyone's like, well,
Robert Davi and her run it together.
Yeah, and
And
they're
then they
watching
start-
Mal go, and they're watching the news,
Oh yeah,
and they're
There's
like,
Mal going to
if
prison.
this cop who happened to be on his payroll, and Mal's getting indicted for all of these charges and possible homicide. And then they're just like quipping, they're laughing.
they
They're
start
just like having a
making
good
out.
They start making out.
Like hardcore in front of the old man at the bar.
There's one old man.
He's just sitting right in front of him, looking.
And Robert Davi's like, give us a second. And then they make out, and cut to black.
Credits.
Credits.
If a movie
What a
ended with the
movie.
two of them fucking right there, so that
Oh,
old
in
man
front
was...
of all of them.
I've been like, it's the greatest movie I've ever seen in my life.
This movie is so disjointed.
It's-
It's so hard to watch. The whole time, the fact that you don't figure out what's in that jacket until Lori dies it's unthinkable. And no one even asks until that one guy goes, "Well, you didn't tell me there was anything in it." You're like, that's the whole movie. It's 55 minutes of the movie. There's people getting murdered over this thing, and no one knows what it is.
This movie is also over 2 hours long. It's
It was
insane.
long.
It needed to be.
It was so crazy.
It's the Hobbit of erotic thrillers.
We had to stop it in the middle to go to the bathroom.
And my verdict is still that there's not enough sex to off balance how poorly written this script
No,
is.
it's way
You know
more
what I mean?
sex
Like,
to be in
just
this
show
movie.
There was
more
only
sex
one-
and less people explaining stuff. I
Her
don't
and Robert
care.
Davi should have 3 sex scenes.
And there was
were
actually
enough.
only one real sex
Sex
scene.
yeah.
There was a lot of
Spanking or people in
fucking Morton
underwear.
Downey Jr. surrounded by naked women, but there was
Dude, it's not
oh,
that
it's so gross.
I've seen it's not that he's like, it's just something pathetic about him that's sad when he's naked.
It's just he's not someone you want to see naked or ever visualize. You know what I mean?
His
No.
head, his head is just, it ruins everything else.
It's like
and-
David Koechner. Like he's like this weird character-y kind of person where you're
At least
just
that's
like,
for comedy, though.
oh, yeah.
Where
But yeah.
you see this guy naked, it's like, am I supposed to think he's a crime boss that's sexy with power? Oh,
Ugh. Whatever. We got through it though.
We
That's
did it.
the end.
The
I'm
end
surprised. I was
of
worried.
legal tender.
I'm totally honest. I was worried we'd never actually be able to explain what happened. Because
No,
I
No,
had,
I'm really happy I fucking took notes. Otherwise, we would have been up Shit's Creek.
It
yeah.
was so rough. It was real rocky in the middle for a while where I was just like, I don't understand why anything's happening. And now there's scenes when nothing happens. And it's
Yeah.
just like, I
Him
guess
listening to an answering machine.
it's going to turn into like
That's my favorite
Inherent
scene.
Vice or something. And
Oh,
it's
him
just-
If there was
listening to the
one
answering
more
machine.
answering machine message, I would have been like, I was like, please be one more. I wanted one more, because the scene was going so long.
I was.
No one will ever watch
like, the
this
six
movie again.
messages-
Like, we might be the only people to watch this in the last like 15 years.
Yeah,
It's really
that's
bad.
very true. I wonder if it even has
Like, you ever
reviews
think
on
about that? Like,
IMDb.
human beings might never watch this movie again.
While we were watching, I went. What the hell were people thinking? Like when this was, did any of these people like watch this after it came out to be like, why is this completely overdubbed? And you know what I mean?
I don't
Like,
think any of those actors ever watched movies like this. They just released it to the public, and it went into rental stores. That's the reason that it's the cover and the actors. It
and the
doesn't
name, which
matter.
has nothing to do with anything.
It doesn't matter what happens in the
Put a
movie.
half-naked woman on the cover, say with the word tender.
It doesn't matter what happens.
There's not about money, and it's not about law.
Mm-mm.
No, not at all.
I expected it to be some like kind of like
Counterfeiting.
Courtroom drama.
Yeah, it was all like poker
Courtroom
games. Like I
thriller.
thought it was gonna be like fake money, poker
yeah.
game. They trying to
No, the poker game had nothing really to do with it.
absolutely.
It could have been people just hanging out in the back room.
Yeah,
It really
and they
was.
kept leaving that poker game. There is a review on
This
IMDb
movie
from 2010.
This movie feels like
Okay.
someone wrote it in reverse. You know what I mean?
Okay, so we want this guy to jump off a balcony and try to save this woman.
And everybody's gonna be sad when he's dead. Why? You know what I mean? Like, why did he show up at the bar where the woman's having the trouble? Oh, because she runs a poker game in the. It's just I don't know. It seems so weird. Yeah, it almost seems like somebody was trying to make it make sense after the fact, but it was clearly written this way.
I think
weird.
it's just a matter of, like, we used to watch all those PM Entertainment movies, and that there used to be studios that would make these low budget straight to video things, and they had a budget, but they were completely unchecked on content. They were hiring jobbers. Everyone on that set was doing a job. Nobody was doing anything that really had any passion or art behind it, which makes the movie amazingly fucking disjointed. Because, like, nobody really cares that much. Like, the director's there fucking making a paycheck. He doesn't care.
Yeah,
Yeah, there were some pretty actually decent shots in this
Well, that
movie.
could have been the DP
Yeah,
doing his
that's
job.
true.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like,
this guy has made a bunch
Like you were
of
saying,
movies.
the table spinning shot at the beginning was actually kind of cool.
well, it looked
You
like
have,
Tarantino.
oh
Yeah.
my god, you guys have got the rest of his movies sound amazing.
Hit us with some titles.
Oh Jesus God! So he started out doing a bunch of horror movies, Open House, Halloween Night, and the Jigsaw Murders, and then we get into Night Eyes, Last Call, The Other Woman, Tropical Heat, L.A.
Yes.
Goddess, Wild Cactus,
Do you know how little sense all those probably make?
Improper
Oh, man. LA
Conduct,
Goddess sounds
The
amazing.
Other Man, Irresistible Impulse, Shades of Grey.
Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
What year was that made?
1997. Tainted Love, Monsoon. And then he did a bunch of
All
Bollywood
he had to-
movies.
Little did we know, all he had to do was specify how many shades of gray were in that movie here and made millions of dollars.
And now he does like a
Dude,
bunch of and now he looks like he does a bunch of spy movies. He hasn't done a movie since 2011. His last movie was Naughty at 40. No
The
fucking
porn?
shit. A 40-year-old male virgin with sleepwalking problems finds true love after getting married to a naive, childlike woman.
And what year was that?
2011.
What year was 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Oh.
Is he just
way,
making
way before that, like 20.
2005.
Okay.
Naughty
All right.
at
Well,
40.
what's his name again? It was like Jag or something. Jig.
Jag Mundra.
Jag Mundra. Go check out his filmography. Highly recommended.
Yeah, what is Shades of Grey? I want to know.
It's
A beautiful LAPD sketch artist moves back to her hometown in order to forget her past. I'm obsessed. I want to watch them all. I really want to watch them all.
LA Goddess sounds so shallow. There can't be anything going on in that movie.
He has made 30
That's
movies.
just-
What was the tropical one?
LA Goddess is a stunt woman on a Western picture takes over the lead role when the star's alcohol problems prove too much and she finds herself gradually falling in love with the film's producer. The tropical one, Tropical Heat or Wild Cactus?
Tropical Heat sounds
Wait,
so
a wild
generic.
cactus?
Yeah.
Let's get into this. What is this cactus doing?
During a desert retreat, a married couple crossed paths with a murderous ex-con and his partner in crime. I would watch the shit out of that
Holy
movie.
shit.
I would watch the hell out of that. Tropical Heat is an American wife of a Maharaja inherits $5 million after he is stepped on by an elephant during a leopard hunt, but the American insurance company suspects fraud
We
and
are
hires
watching
an
that.
insurance investigator to go to India to investigate the questionable death of her husband. In India, the wife and the investigator...
Yeah, we have to watch that. It sounds like this, but with fucking elephants
Why
stepping on
is
people.
that such a long synopsis?
It's not over. In India, the wife of the investigator start an affair that leads to several softcore sex scenes scattered throughout the film. Meanwhile, an Indian woman believes that her own father's disappearance may be involved in the murder, a story that the local police dismiss. She then stalks the wife to get proof of a conspiracy. You guys gotta watch that
That has to
fucking
do with
movie.
elephant
That's
stomping?
tropical heat.
Yes.
Look, we whacked this dude and I blamed it on an elephant, boss. It's fucking grade A top-notch work.
Starring Rick Rossovich from the Terminator films
Okay.
and Miriam Diabo.
Check out Jag Mundra's
Oh my god, they all look
filmography.
so
They're
good.
all apparently as good as this. So
They all look unbelievable.
if you love this,
You want to be confused.
Dude, I want to watch this open house horror movie so bad.
Oh, one last thing I want to point out is I liked because Tanya Roberts was overdubbed the whole time.
yeah.
When they were doing scenes where she was getting kissed or they were eating, they had to then overdub the sound effects,
Oh,
which was
man.
awesome because
Oh,
they were
yeah.
just so loud for no reason. You're like, God, that's unnatural.
Or like when
It
like
was
Mal
pretty
was
good.
going to his office for the first time, we were just supposed to hear her like quietly explaining her situation to Verna,
was
except
so
it was
loud.
so fucking loud. I was like, I don't even know where she is on the screen. Is she in his office? Is he just like listening to a recording of her? It was crazy loud. Damn, man.
I would love to know the reason for that. We'll never know
Mm-mm.
unless we ever meet Jag.
It's like
Yeah,
a
why don't
Rotor
you,
situation where you're just like,
Gotta find Jag.
Find him. Call him up.
All right,
God damn.
legal tender. If you can find this fucking thing, don't watch it unless you're gonna listen to this podcast. That's what I'm gonna. That's my recommendation.
Well, yeah.
That's
Isn't
the-
that the
it's-
recommendation for every bonus
No,
this movie?
that is not the recommendation for every bonus this movie. This, unless you love Morton Downey Jr., which this is definitely a vehicle for him and his body.
Yeah.
If you love his skin, his leather, his pleather,
His skin is
it's beautiful.
if you want to see
His-
how
his bone
small
case.
his penis and balls are, it's watch this movie. 'cause
If you ever wanted
get
to
a
know-
clear shot of it.
the angle at which Morton Downey Jr.'s ass sags. Go for it. Like the exact angle.
he's just upsetting.
It's really
so
upsetting.
upsetting.
It's stressful.
Why would you cast that man as like the sexual?
The sexual tyrant.
He didn't
Yeah.
do a bad job of being a bad guy. I'll give him that.
Yeah, they just
No.
need to take the sex out.
Yes.
Yes.
He's just not sexy.
He's not. He's not a sexy man. And
I
it's
would
weird.
have believed Robert Davi in that role more better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it was more like a Jabba the Hutt situation where those topless women
Yeah.
looked disinterested or had chains on them because they were
no,
slaves.
but the women were like
Into
Yeah, they
him.
were like,
he must
They
have been
loved
paying.
him.
Well, he did pay money to everybody, so
Yeah,
they-
dude, he paid.
That is something
he
we
paid
didn't really
someone
talk
he was
about.
gonna murder 10 hours later $100,000.
right. He's
Yeah.
like, whatever. Okay.
In
He paid-
cash. It's not like I could cancel that check. He gave him $100,000 in cash and then murdered him.
Oh my god, unbelievable!
He didn't
What
even
was that
murder
other movie?
himself.
We
He murdered
want-
him with other people that could just steal that cash and say, "I didn't see where it went."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why didn't he kill him right there when he instead of
And paying him
Fixing his
$100,000.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Did he? He didn't need that guy to call Robert Davi.
No, he didn't
It's
even
not
know
like
that
part
guy
of
was
his
gonna call
plan.
Robert
Yeah.
Davi.
It wasn't part of his plan. Why do you even give him the time to do that?
What do you think, Brian Gilbert?
All right. Yeah. Anyway, we can't keep talking about this.
Do you do that on your podcast too? Because I do that on my podcast all the
I
time.
just assume that he's one of the few people that always listen no matter what. So
I've listened to every episode of Bonus
Well, then I'll
Disc.
assume that you do too.
Yep.
I always tag you.
I know you do.
Yeah. Whatever.
I've been here for fucking 5 hours.
Yeah. Figuring it out.
Bye.
Bye. It's
It's over.
I would love to regain feeling in my extremities.
You have just listened to Bonus Disc. Questions, comments, and movie suggestions can be posted to facebook.com/bonusdisc. Opinions and criticisms of the hosts and guests of Bonus Disc are 100% valid because they sit high atop Judgment Mountain. So quit your whining.